Welcome to Nerd Church. We are back with 3 players today. So we've got a druid on the loose.
She was always aloof, though. Mm-hmm.
Always a little bit of a wanderer. Thank you to the Pizza Hero for bringing goodies to the party. Mm-hmm. Alex will share this pizza virtually with you today.
I have some Korean barbecue going on over here.
Nice. For our first tangent of the game, a Famous Dave's opened up near our house a little while ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, Famous Dave's. And I got so excited about it because I remember loving going to Famous Dave's when I was a kid in Minnesota, which is where Famous Dave's started.
Do they not have any around here?
I did not know that.
That's the first time I'd seen it.
There's one in Madison.
So I got all jazzed up and I'm like, Wes, because Wesley is my only barbecue ally. Like, Wes, we're going to Famous Dave's. It's going to be great. Come on. And it was, I'll just say, fine. But what it made me realize is that my memories of what great barbecue is from when I was 15 don't hold up.
Right. That
Yeah.
falls in that category.
I have to agree with that. The last time I had Famous Dave's, I was in Portland, and like, I just need some ribs, and one of the barbecue places was had sold out, and I was like, no, I'm determined on getting ribs, and Famous Dave's was the only option, so I went, and was not satisfied.
No, definitely fast food barbecue. And I realize we've now alienated them as a sponsor, most likely, which is too bad.
This is a misstep. This is a misstep.
Or maybe this is just the start of the courting process. So Famous Dave's, if you're listening, maybe send us.
I mean, I'm easily bribed, honestly.
So maybe send us some gift cards, or point us to the outlet where we should go to give it a fair shake.
I think that there's one on 27th Street. Actually. But
I bid in for Double B's barbecue in West Dallas.
It's supposed
Oh
to be.
yeah,
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
so good.
Double B's, if you're listening, love you, and please.
Please call me.
Please call me back.
so it's like another Minnesota thing. Have you ever had a Juicy Lucy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we've kind of gotten on a Juicy Lucy thing lately, and we found out that, especially, it was a Minneapolis burger that had to be had. So Dan is kind of obsessed.
I'm not familiar. What goes on it?
So it's like it has like the onions and the cheese, like it's 2 patties, but then they seal the patties, right? That's kind of the deal.
Yeah, it's a stuffed burger.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of different twists on it. But like, yeah, the original is a burger stuffed with cheese and onions.
Gotcha.
And it's exactly what it sounds like.
What's not to love?
Good as hell.
American.
Yeah. Yeah, there's it's a direct contributor to our declining life expectancy, but it is delicious. All right, my friends, as a recap, at the end of our last session, the party, riding high after the defeat of Upido or on the outskirts, I should say,
That time.
of the village, once again defeating Upido on the outskirts of the village. You won the big boss fight, but perhaps a little ominously, as she was fading, you heard her laugh wearily and sigh, and then say, more delays. From there, you took a long rest in the ruins of the village, And I think where I'd like to pick up is sort of sitting around the campfire talk as you discuss what's next for your group. I was telling Thomas before everybody else logged on that prep for this session made me laugh again because I was like, I have no idea what they're going to do next. Once again, let me come up with 4 or 5 possible directions they could go and brainstorm a little bit around that. So I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm interested to hear your characters talk about it.
I think we got a lot of more fight ahead of us.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I don't think she's gone. And I think that our
You know what we should do is we should have Pando become the Raven.
Yeah, I think we should be looking for ways to weaken her. This is gonna be a war of attrition.
and we should head back to the Minotaur City.
Really?
No.
Do we need to do that?
I think that at this point, if we were going to get any information on if she is still around, other than the Raven, is that the Synok would know.
Okay, how do we should get our story straight though about the about the dragon.
What about we go and try to bash some skeletons?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, always yes, but
Be a clear indication that she's still around.
Yeah, we should try to bash some skeletons. Did we see because there were like different routes of like, it looked like they had gone down certain roads, right?
Yeah, you definitely saw very clear trails from marching soldiers.
yeah, we could pursue some of their squads.
Yeah, I think we should follow a few of those roads and just bash a couple of skeletons.
How long will it take?
I don't need it.
I just want part of one. I don't want to eat a whole one. Well,
Hey, man,
Yeah.
how long would it take for Potom to retrofit the cooking pot to being full plate armor?
Do you even have enough material?
Yeah, I have an entire cooking pot that I could just seat on the top of the exocom.
I think I would say, and by the way, I put the Zoom link in the text thread if either of you want that, or I can email it to you if
can
that's
you email
easier.
it?
I think my answer to that, Alex, would be out here on the ass end of civilization, I think it would take longer than it would in a city where you had access to like a forge to do the metalwork. So it's possible, but would probably take a while. I'm going to say probably like a week to do it right.
Damn it! You just hear Potom over there. Inspecting the cooking pot and being like, "Damn it! There's not enough time."
All right, there's that link.
Yeah.
We're a very needy group.
Okay. So you're chatting about it. You put a few proposals forward.
Is it worth us trying to go after the second cache, or should we just assume that's long gone? The northern cache, I mean?
I'm assuming that that's long gone, like there's nothing left there.
Also, Autumn starts to swat at the rock that's floating around his forehead, and he just kind of grabs it out of the air. He'll toss it to air and be like, I don't know what this does, but I can't concentrate with it floating around my head all this time.
Wait, what rock is this?
Is a magical stone that you found in the cache.
Oh,
And when Potom picked it up, it started floating, glowing and floating around his head.
okay. And you plucked it and threw it, and you threw it in my direction, and the air. Air attempts to catch it. Does it?
Yeah.
Can I catch it
Easily.
Does it try to escape me? Does it seem like it behaves in any?
It seems very chill. It reacts like a stone would.
Can I roll anything? I want to get a roll going because this is D&D after all.
That is true.
Can I roll any kind of an investigation maybe, or an arcana? Characteristics. I'm not necessarily needing a
Yeah.
explanation of what it is.
You could pick either of those, investigation or arcana, and I'll give you
According
different information according to what you're trying to figure out.
Okay, I'm gonna roll investigation
Okay.
because, as we know, Air is kind of a fake and doesn't really know anything about magic. It's all intuition, and apparently nothing about investigation either because she only rolled 7 with a +4.
Yeah. I mean, this looks
Like a stone.
like a magic stone. You're pretty confident it is magic, not just a valuable stone.
Nice job, Air.
But the glow and the levitation do seem to imply that this is some kind of magic item.
Right.
Looks valuable.
Well, that's okay. You know what? That's all Air was looking for.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of want to have a chance, you know, because while I don't think it's going to be too hard to track these skeletons, but, you know, I do have my superior tracking ability at high speed. No. So I'd love an opportunity to be able to use that. I think we should just zoom down one of these paths and kill some skeletons.
Should we try to incorporate multiple options into one? Like, is there a
road
squad
that-
of skeletons that heads towards the Minotaur city?
Let's do it.
I'm still holding out hope for the northern cache, to be honest. That's just me.
So I'll give you a reminder about that, which doesn't necessarily answer your question, but is relevant to the question you're asking. One of the visions that Pando had when she was the Raven was a vision of Upido heading towards the mountains, towards the mountain range where you believe that Northern Cache was located. Now,
In the same way she was heading to this location, right? No,
Right.
different.
yes, and so to remind you, Pando was unsure about the time,
Right.
like the timestamp on these visions. They
Right.
could have been past, present, or future. She wasn't really sure. But you know that she did have a vision of Upido probably heading for the Northern Cache.
Air is always pro cache, I think is easy position. So if she is pro going back to the Minotaur city in the way that it brings us closer to the Northern Cache,
Fair.
that's her vote.
Well, if you want to look around at the Skelly tracks, you can definitely do that. I would need a survival check. It's going to be a relatively low DC, but there's a lot of confusion of tracks close to the village here.
I'm going to do a survival.
Okay.
I believe that Pando would like to use her cantrip to assist you in that.
Yes, she would.
Oh yeah,
Perfect, she
guidance,
does.
sure.
That means I get to roll again.
No,
No,
that
you
means you
just
get to
gotta-
roll a D4
Yeah.
and add it to what you just rolled.
Take it
Yeah,
all again.
well, it was kind of crappy, so.
Here's the thing: is that Potom would also like to assist you in your survival check, so you can roll again.
13.
All right, so it's either 13 or, with Potom's help, you can roll one more time. A survival check.
I think it's a fairly low DC. Do you think 13 will do it?
Well, you can roll again anyway because I'm assisting you. So just do it to see if it's better.
We should be using our, where is it? Oh, well, 12 plus 3, 15.
All right,
Plus 4, isn't it? Oh, you rolled the D4.
I have a plus 3 on survival and I rolled the,
Okay, and then roll the D4.
I think we're more than there.
I also think so, but the more the merrier.
Truth.
never hurts to have
12
a
plus
higher
7,
score.
19.
Matt's already forgotten what the heck we were rolling for. It's been...
Skeletons. I'm on it. All right. Freya, who has a lifetime of experience
Chasing skeletons.
observing troop movements, gets a pretty good read on the way that these 500 skeletal warriors have split up. And it's really only into two groups. So the main force, it looks like probably close to 400 of these skeletons.
I thought there was only 150.
No, 500. Didn't we? I felt like that was the number. I'm
That was the number.
just gonna remind myself really quick from.
Alan, I'm pretty sure it's 150.
That sounds like wishful thinking to me.
I'm sure you're right.
But sometimes no. 500 armed with halberds and hand and a half swords and tower shields and heavy armor. Close to 400 of them, your best estimate, are heading nearly due north. And it's hard to know this far away, but they are holding a line that aligns with the angle of the coast in general, which could put them on a course to Nantong. Or perhaps another destination that lies between Nantong and here, or a destination beyond Nantong. But they are headed in that direction. The other group, about 100 or so, is also heading north, but on a slightly more westerly heading. They are heading in a very similar path to the path that you took to get here. So, unlike you, they're walking in a perfectly straight line, not deviating from their heading in any way where you moved around obstacles and things like that. But 100 of these guys are moving directly back towards where you came from.
Okay.
I think we should go after the 100, frankly. We take those out and then we can always head to Nantong.
I don't think Era feels strongly either way. She's also pro punching skeletons. She's in a win-win situation here.
Well,
Does Potom have a opinion?
I think that we should head in the direction of Nantong.
I want to know, I think, yeah, I want to know what those 100 are doing. They're not supposed to,
Or, head in the direction of Nantong or go after the larger group. Because, from experience, she draws her power. She gets powered up by by decreasing her number of skeleton warriors.
I know. I just feel like there's something else going on. Okay. All right, fine. Nantong.
I think this might be a place where Pando asks, what do we do when we get to Nanton? Because we left that place in an interesting, like our relationship with the Sinnock is kind of interesting at this point.
And
Like,
just raises her hand.
what's the plan when we get
Yeah.
there?
I really don't particularly want to go to Nantong.
You're right, Potom. What is the plan? What's the story?
Why would we go to Nantong?
Well, we go to Nantog to figure out more information about these skeleton warriors, who's being attacked, and possibly any other sightings of Yapido.
Yeah.
And
Kata's
possibly
there.
they'll give us some money for defeating her in the first
They're not
place.
going to.
Or are they going to arrest us? That's my
Yeah,
question.
they're not gonna, they, like, best case scenario, they don't arrest us.
I mean, you could go back to Nantong and just report your victory and claim glory.
I know.
We did it. Mission accomplished.
See y'all later.
Let's get a mission accomplished banner to.
Yeah.
Throw us
Just
a
get a
ticker
banner.
tape parade as we sail away. No, I don't necessarily want them to know that I removed their tracker.
That's my question. Is like, didn't we do like a big no
Yeah,
by removing their tracker? Or do we just play stupid? Be like, oh, what?
no,
Yeah, I don't know.
it must have just been a bad tracker.
Yeah.
I guess your spell faded with time.
Yeah. Are you sure you did it right? Wingardium Leviosa.
I think I still feel it.
Leviosa?
Did you say it correctly? I feel tracked.
Feel seen.
Man, I thought it was tracked this whole time.
Okay, I mean, Air is willing to duck out at any moment, so she's fine, and she's not the one that removed the tracker, so she's fine.
That's fine, yeah, maybe I won't go into Nantong when we get
She
there.
doesn't feel exposed.
And also, I mean, it leads us in the direction of the possible second cache.
Yep, that's why Air is pro Nantong.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So the second question that a very talkative Pando asks is
Raises her hand again.
how are we getting there? Are we just gonna walk again or ride the crickets?
'Cause we had the
took
crickets
a while
around
to get
Oh,
here.
Our crickets, where are our crickets again?
Our
I think we'll just generously say you parked them well outside of town before you came into the area. Your crickets survived the raising of whatever I named this village.
we come by to there where we tied them up, and they were just like burnt to a crisp. It was like, ooh.
Quan Chu, that's what it was. Yeah, your crickets survived the raising of Quan Chu.
Sweet.
So you were able to recover them. That is one path.
Okay.
You did travel. What did we say? 4, 5. Yeah, you traveled like 6 days to get here on crickets. Oh no, sorry. You traveled 12 days by cricket to get here. It only took you 11 because you had some luck. From the wound was where you set out.
Well, I mean, how fast do skeletons go?
That's hard to say until you catch up to them and watch them walk.
That is true.
But the alternative that you see
Uh-huh.
is though the village is destroyed, there are a number of watercraft
Oh.
there,
See.
small fishing vessels and things of that nature. Now, I don't know that any of you have a lot of experience sailing So it'd be an interesting effort, but the estimates you were given when you were making your plans to come down here were that it's about 4 days by sea to Nantong, from Nantong to Quanshu.
I'd rather try to catch up with skeletons, honestly. I mean, they can't be going that fast, can they? Maybe.
Faster than a cricket. Yeah, I mean, not faster than a cricket, right?
I don't know.
Seems unlikely
What's the ground speed of a
of an unladen cricket.
of a laden skeleton?
Yeah. It does seem unlikely that heavy infantry troops are moving faster than a small group on crickets.
Yeah. I'd rather catch up to them before we get to Nantong.
So the third question Pando has, as she raises her hand once again, is what do we do when we catch up to the skeletons?
To 400 skeletons?
To 400 heavily armed skeletons.
Yeah, that was my question too.
Well, you have to take responsibility for it.
No, I
This is
am very willing to fight, but you know, have they spread out? Are they like, I think that they're still all together. That was part of the reason why I thought we should go for the 100 also.
I don't know if can we kill 100 skeletons? Can we kill 400 skeletons?
You have a better chance of killing 100 skeletons than 400.
Or do we just go to Nantong? You know what? I'm starting to think this Nantong idea is
Not the worst.
it's not the worst.
I mean, it all really depends on what, again, Pando, it all really depends on what we're gonna do when we get to the skeletons. Because if we're gonna get to the skeletons and just throw ourselves at them and start a battle, I don't think we're really set up for that.
Yeah, Air's nine.
I don't see that going well. But if we have some alternative plan for when we get to the skeletons, like get out ahead of the skeletons and warn people so that they don't march into villages and terrorize them, or pick off a couple skeletons a day.
Maybe destroy
Guerrilla
a dam,
warfare.
flood a valley. of
Yeah, there you
skeletons.
go. Like,
Yeah, I'd love to mass kill skeletons, but I don't have too much faith in that happening.
I mean, none of us even know how to cast fireballs, so I could turn into a bear,
I can fly away from skeletons.
probably mess up a couple skeletons at a time, but not like double-digit skeletons at a time.
Right. Well, thanks, Pando.
Yeah.
Happy to help, guys. Love to chime in strategy sessions.
Well, Potom, it sounds like your plan is gaining momentum here.
Yeah, I think that if we're going to find out any information and find any help to defeat skeletons, Nantong is where we're going to find it.
All right. Maybe we can get are there any sailors we can get to, probably that they won't want to, but
You studied a book
Okay.
about sailing, didn't you, Potom?
Given a moment, I could probably figure it out.
The principles, at least.
Yeah, we could probably muddle through something. All right, do you guys want to go and investigate the dock and see if there's anything useful there?
For sure.
All right.
Is that an investigation or is it a perception check?
I think so you can pretty readily, I don't think we need to do a big check here. I think
Okay.
you can, at first light, after you've had your long rest, you can head down to the docks. Most of the fires have faded here. There's still little patches of smoke rising in different places as the embers of the destroyed village cool. But down by the docks, the damage is significant but less comprehensive, I guess I would say. The ghouls were pretty focused on killing people, and
They're very good at it.
they were very good at it. And people were hiding in homes and buildings and whatnot. They weren't really hiding on boats. And the ghouls had no desire to destroy property other than when that property was preventing them from getting a tasty snack. Many of the fishing boats are either damaged to the point where you wouldn't trust them for a journey of any significance, or are too small, and you can tell at a glance, even without being experienced sailors, that they are meant for traversing the coral reef, not really going anywhere else. However, there is one vessel remaining that looks seaworthy and looks like it could, if you hugged the coast and didn't take any big risks. It's got a deeper keel than all the rest. It has two sails, two masts full of sails, and it looks like the kind of ship a small one, but the kind of ship that you have seen moving trade goods up and down the coast in the past. So I think
That nonetheless, in previous adventures.
yeah. This is within the realm of all of your experience, a ship that could do the trick. Now, you have also typically, when you've seen ships of this size, seen them crewed by 8 to 10 people. And there are 4 of you. That doesn't mean it's impossible, but you don't know what you're doing.
And there's only 4 of us.
And there's 4 of you.
Oh, wait, can I use my, oh, no, never mind. I didn't kill a person. I was gonna say, I could use my Cursed Spectre to get another dude. But I can't.
And we could bring in an elemental to help us as well. And
The kill.
Bottom could dismount the exocomp, which would give us 7. All right. With all of this,
Panda could summon her fae to help her tiny,
yeah,
her
that's
tiny fae.
To just judge us,
And
fly
then
around and judge us.
Try to go
okay.
simply.
Okay. Well, so Bottom would like to just kind of investigate the boat, essentially, trying to remember what he's seen other people do, just to see if he could possibly operate the vessel.
Is there anybody walking around down
No,
there?
everyone's dead.
Every single person's dead.
Yeah, the village is decimated and gone.
I knew the
Well,
village was decimated, but
dead or they fled. Because remember, you saw some villagers in the middle of the night.
Right.
Air specifically saw some villagers fleeing, pursued by skeletons.
Yeah, so they're probably dead too.
But
absolutely.
fleeing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is not a soul alive
Okay.
in the village.
Too bad.
Yes, Potom, make an intelligence check, a straight up intelligence check for me.
Oh,
And let's
all right.
see how you figure.
a 12
All right.
seems about right.
So with the 12, I think Potom very easily evaluates mechanically how the ship works. It's clear to him if you pull on this rope, this happens. If you crank this crank, the sails turn this way, right? Potom very quickly figures out how the ship works as a machine. But the idea of inferring how to then operate it successfully and make it do what you want it to do on the water is harder.
It's like learning how to drive a stick shift in a parking lot and then taking it out on the highway.
Yeah, or maybe more accurately, watching several YouTube videos about how to drive stick shift and then taking it out on the highway.
Sure.
Where you're like, I got it. Intellectually, I understand this. Clutch, move the thing, got it. I will say that this gives you enough confidence that you would feel safe taking this thing out for like a test spin. And you also believe you might learn as you go.
No.
And, worst case scenario, you hope there's a water breathing potion near to hand if you crash into a coral reef.
That sounds very much like Potom. He's got the confidence to do this.
Yeah, as my wife often accused me, broad spectrum confidence disorder. Just pretty sure I can figure
like
out
that.
whatever it is we're up to. And
I like that.
I look at stuff and I go, I bet I'd be good at that. And I'm often wrong, which is why I spend a lot of money on plumbers.
Why is it's a disorder?
It is a disorder. It's not my fault. It's a condition that I have. All right, so it kind of sounds like Podham's pitching to the party that you should all get on this little boat, on this schooner. I don't know if that's a good boat name for what I'm describing, but
Don't worry, our listeners will tell us.
our many listeners will. We get so much listening.
We'll
We'll
weigh
get fact
in.
checks, yeah. I stopped looking at the mailbox. It got so full.
After hearing the description of the boat, listeners, please leave a comment below and tell us where we've gone wrong.
Yeah.
I'd like to know about maritime law.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is this a catamaran? Is this
Yes.
These are all brand names. I don't want brand names. I want a type.
A boat with 2 masts.
Types of small ocean sailing ships. 2-mast. What are we? Brigantines, schooners. Let's go.
Schooners.
Yawls and ketches. This is a schooner, without question.
Yeah,
As
you
we
always
always
knew.
canonically,
Yeah,
a schooner. Excellent.
there's no doubt about it.
2 or more masts, with the foremost mast being shorter than the main mast, as we all knew. All right, so this little schooner, Podham is pitching a shakedown voyage around the reef.
Yeah. Air.
And I believe the bottom's finding jobs as people climb aboard.
I like it.
And
Based
he'll
on
dismount the exocomp to have an extra hand.
all right, yeah, that excellent. So based on you Alex's deep knowledge of maritime roles, where are you directing each of your companions? Give them each a job.
Well,
Well, obviously.
yeah, no, you're really testing my pirate knowledge here. Call myself, I don't call myself, Captain Meadows is stammering at the moment. I mean, I think that Podham, without his advanced maritime knowledge, would just be like, all right, Freya, you seem like you're the one that would be
Can raise
strong enough.
the sail. Freya
So
could raise
you're gonna crank up the sails.
All right, so rigger. Freya's
Yep.
gonna be on
the
rigger.
rigging.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
Sounds like a thing.
Yeah. I'm on thepirateking.com right now, historical ship rolls. And the rigger is the one who's up in the sails.
Yeah,
like
that's what I
is
thought.
running the rigging and furling and releasing the sails up in them themselves.
Probably not.
On a slippery spar high above the rolling deck.
Yeah. Freya should be the one that's standing on the bottom, raising the actual
All right,
sail.
we're gonna
Air would be able to do that. She's
so-
kinda
Right.
Freya's gonna be an ABS, an able-bodied sailor.
Okay.
The backbone
ABS.
of the ship, pulling ropes.
Yep, pulling ropes.
What am I, an ABS?
I'm an ABS.
Yeah.
I would imagine that air would be a good rigger.
Yeah.
I think so.
Especially because you can fly, so if you slip, you can fly a little.
It's true.
Right.
Helpful. All right, so we've got air up in the rigging.
PirateKing.com, is that what you said?
Yeah.
This
uh,
rigging Lego sets.
Can Air get a spyglass? Is that a thing in this world?
Yeah, those exist.
Air would like to rummage through the captain's quarters looking for a spyglass.
I think those are the two roles we really care most about, other than you need a captain and a mate. So
Fake roll.
someone's going to be calling out orders.
Well,
And
Podham very clearly is the captain. He's already claimed that role.
Air pulls Freya aside and talks about starting a union.
We're already talking mutiny. Pando,
did.
because Pando can wild shape, I think she volunteers to be an ABS as well because she can shift into different shapes that might be helpful for different roles. If she needs to be a monkey and scurry up into the rigging quick, she can do
great.
that. If she needs to be a bear and pull a big heavy thing, she can do that.
I think, I think
that-
we could have an elemental be a mate, right? They're mostly like relaying orders.
Sure.
Sure, yeah, not a fire, probably.
I-
Oh, yeah.
I would like Pando to be the helmsman.
All right, very good. Put Pando on the
Yeah,
helm.
we need someone on, yeah, we need someone on.
Oh, by the way, we have presents from Alex from Bozeman, Montana.
Oh, really?
And we all got a
Whoa.
giant D20
Whoa,
dice that
look
is
at that
yours,
monster.
and this was yours. Air's
Wow.
purple.
Of course.
I don't know where mine is. I think mine's in my thing. But Pando has. So
Nice. Got to do some test
let's
rolls
try, do some test
to make
rolls.
sure you didn't secretly give the DM a weighted die.
Oh, that would have been smart.
We thought about it. We thought about it.
I'm rolling a lot of threes right now. Is all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
It's a little sus.
thank you.
This one's mine. It's very rock-like looking, and I often find it in my bathroom in the morning because in the middle of the night, Lana likes to roll.
So
I like it.
Freya's is like an icy color. Oh, here's mine. Mine's great.
Oh, I like
Oh,
that.
that's cool
Yeah,
too,
so
yeah.
it's
I like the purple.
yeah.
Very, you're right, very.
Yeah, we thought it was very air.
like, yeah.
Yeah, matches her magical signature.
That's right.
All right, very good. Let's do some sailing rolls and see how this shakedown cruise goes. So we're gonna do this as a group check. Across the board, I'm setting the success DC at 14. And we're going to see if we can universally pass. So, Potom, as the captain, you are going to make an intelligence check as you try to coordinate all the things that are happening at once through just brute force thought. Air, you're going to make an acrobatics check as you leap around the rigging.
Okay.
Freya, you are going to make an athletics check as you crank on big heavy ropes. Pando, with this fancy new 20-sided die, is going to make a what would a helmsman roll be?
I don't know, that's a good question.
I think I'm going to call this weirdly a performance check.
Oh, sure.
Because she doesn't actually know what she's doing. She's pretending to know what she's doing.
Faintly immature.
You're going to see how effectively she fakes it. Here we go. Pando rolled a 2. So that's the price of you giving me a weighted die.
14 plus 4. That was the official one.
14 plus 4 passes.
Yeah.
So 1 pass, 1 fail.
11.
11 fails. So we got 1 pass and 2 fails.
And we have a 19.
And 19 passes. So we've got 2 passes and 1 fail. So it is all going to come down to the Steel Defender.
We got who's an able-bodied crew member?
What's that?
I said that he's an able-bodied crew member, but also, I mean, he ultimately.
The able-bodied crew member is going to make an athletics check.
All right. I think that he goes off of my proficiency bonus. 10.
10 is a fail. So
Just crash into the rocks, sink.
it's a good news, bad news situation. The good news is you don't die, nor is the ship running aground on the coral reef and lost. The bad news is you spend almost the entire day making this shakedown cruise. And by the end of it, you've moved so slowly during the course of the day that you're all pretty sure that if you tried to do this all the way up the coast, it would take longer than riding the crickets. And so you've kind of have burned a day here. However, when you sort of limp your way back into the dock, and that embarrassingly ends with Freya and Pando in the shape of a hunter shark literally towing the ship into the dock, down in the water, dragging it in by the anchor chain.
Man, good thing the villagers are dead and they didn't have to see this
Right.
Yeah.
embarrassment.
But however, you do have an audience for this embarrassing performance, because as you make your way into the dock, you see that the dock is no longer only occupied by the boats, the little fishing boats that you saw, but there are two large like rowboats parked there. The big ones like that you see are like landing craft for larger vessels, with like 4 rows of bench seats and big oars on the side, multiple sets of big oars. And standing on the dock with one foot perched up on a crate, sort of posed swashbucklingly in the fading light, you see a human who is dressed rather extravagantly in a billowy silk shirt, tight, what must be leather pants, although it's not, it's a sort of gray textured leather that you don't quickly recognize, tall knee-high boots, buckles and straps all over, one of them holding a shining cutlass at his waist, and a fantastic hat, broad-brimmed hat with a big feather.
Oh, Air has hat envy right
It is superior to your hat, objectively superior.
now. Air just kind of takes it off and just holds it behind her.
And this person, who's bedecked with various gold jewelry and gemstones, is standing in front of a sort of ragtag group of rough around the edges sailors, who are a mixture of races, human, tabaxi, knoll. And they've clearly been watching you as you limped your way in. And as Freya, as you surface near the dock and drag the ship the last little bit in, the human looks down at you and looks back out at the ship and says, "Ahoy, lubbers! Looks like you've been having some fun."
Yeah, okay, obviously we don't know how to sail.
I think we figured it out.
They take off their hat and give an exaggerated bow, and they say, "Aye, 'tis true. But my name be not Captain Obvious. It be Captain Yarb Shalom, and a pleasure it be to meet you. As long as ye can tell me the story of what happened to my village."
Ooh. Not good. Bad- Poor timing. You just missed, well, maybe good timing, depending on your perspective.
I hope it be a good story, because if what lies behind me be your fault, the conversation will turn dark.
I think one thing we can definitely say is
That is not
it
our
was
fault.
not our fault.
Well, it's definitely not our fault.
Definitely not our fault.
Somebody make a persuasion check.
I'm gonna.
Who can really?
Well, you tell me, is it persuasion or deception?
Well, it's kind of our fault indirectly. I feel like you could.
Whoa! Hey, no! Admit nothing.
he's not saying
No,
he's not
no.
saying that out loud.
No, that's to the DM.
I'm asking if
Air thinks
Air-
it's a deception.
Air thinks she's lying. So then Air, make a deception.
Oh, I was making a persuasion check.
20, but not natural.
All right.
I got a 17 for persuasion if you're gonna take
Okay.
that.
Well, that's good. That's good too. So all of you are kind of talking at once, but
No.
Air delivers the line very well, and
And the line is no.
and Captain Shalon sort of gives you a look, and
But
then
then she puts her hat back on.
okay, that seals the deal. Gives you a look, and then and then kind of nods and says, aye, well, why don't you crawl down from that limping vessel, come ashore, sit around the fire and tell me the story.
A quick interjection.
Hmm?
Now, does Air find a spyglass? Because I added it to my inventory.
Did Air find a spyglass? Like
Yeah.
just lying about?
In the
Oh, on
captain's
the ship.
on the ship, in the
Um,
kind of captain's
Absolutely.
quarters or
Absolutely.
napkin.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is not a fancy one.
No,
It's
pure
But it's
utility.
But yes,
absolutely a
It
spyglass.
will turn some small things far away.
Basic ass spyglass.
Basic
That-
ass
that-
spyglass.
That is
Um, as we're heading up to the village, Potom just kind of goes to the group and goes, Freya, could we just not say too much?
I like that that's directed straight at Freya.
Yeah, well, just because
Let's
you
just
asked
keep our truth
me, I will.
At a minimum,
Come on.
maybe a safe word like badger.
Or just a really, really angry face.
just this sign.
Off! Stop talking, Tom.
Shut up. Ixnay under.
Fred, stop it.
They're speaking a different
Okay, we'll
language.
try. We'll see how this goes. You know, sometimes things don't move, so chaos has to reign.
All right.
That is what I'm trying to
Better
avoid.
idea than chaos.
All right. You make your way towards the center of the village, where the giant cookpot used to rest. And Captain Shallan is sitting there on a charred barrel turned on its side. Some of his crew are gathered around, but many of them are poking through the wreckage of the village. And he sits and turns his gaze on you and says, "This village be under my protection and the protection of the Zenith fleet for well on nigh 10 years now. It be my job to keep it safe and collect the due. And now I come by to collect the tithe that be due to us and find it raised to the ground, and you lubbers limping about in a schooner like it's your first day at sea."
It is our first dance.
I mean, technically, you are correct. It was our first day at sea. Manning a boat. We're usually passengers.
This tells me there be an interesting story, and I should like to hear it.
Anna quickly puts some food in her mouth and just motions to Potom.
This town was under your protection?
Yar.
Ooh, that's embarrassing.
Yes. Yeah, that, I hope that they weren't paying you a lot.
Me crew and I have been keeping this town safe for nearly a decade. We pass
Yeah,
by once
mentioned
a
that.
week. We were here most recently only 4 days ago, and everything was good and moot. And now we arrive and see this wasteland. What am I to think?
4 days ago? That's not possibly true. We've been here longer than that.
Is that right? Am I just getting my DM brain math wrong?
I
I mean,
Yeah, whatever it was, they missed you by just a couple days.
okay. All right. Well, Potom calls the captain out on her bad math. Her
Yeah.
or him?
Him.
Calls him out on his bad math. Sorry, he's rather androgynous.
Hard to say.
Sorry, I got my pronouns wrong.
Very tight
pants, I think was.
The pants are very tight.
We came here to see a chiropodist.
I think that Potham will give the tale of why they came, what brought them there, and that the town was very accommodating, and that he'll even drop the fisherman's name that assisted them with his boat.
Okay.
And due to forces out of anyone's control, we helped. We did not hurt. We helped.
So I'm going to ask, you're saying you're telling them the tale. How much detail are you giving the captain about what you were there doing?
Release the skeleton army by any means.
Okay. Because that is part of the tale. So I just wanted to understand if that was part of the tale you were weaving here. Like then we released 500 ancient skeletal warriors.
We're leaving out key details that point the finger at us as bringing trouble to the town.
Okay. I want Potham to make a deception check as you commit the sin of omission.
11.
Okay. Well, the good news for you is it was a low DC because you're telling a lot of the truth. I think what Potham does, and though Potham does it a little clumsily, what Potham does is paint you guys as treasure hunters who
Right.
came here to
Yes.
explore the reefs in search of treasure. Perhaps you talk about
Black spot.
Yeah, perhaps you talk about actually recovering some valuables from one of the shipwrecks, which you did spend a little time investigating.
Look at my new magic door.
And though there is perhaps a little suspicion still in the eyes of the captain, he does seem to accept your story. He's of course very concerned about the idea that hordes of undead ravaged this town with well, how do you describe Upido to this guy?
Well, as a giant floating lady in the sky that we defeated, who was just there with her undead army.
Adding some credibility to our story would be, we were exploring the dead area that's out there. And lo and behold, we have heard that there was treasure in the dead area, and it contained a lot of skeletons.
So we are talking about skeletons now.
Oh,
Talk about the skeleton.
I thought we did already. I'm sorry.
Nope, we're talking about ghouls.
Okay, ghouls. Never mind. We came out to find out about the dead area.
Found more death, just kind of,
We did.
Ironic, don't you think?
like, mind dive.
Yeah. All right, so the
10,000 spoons, and all we needed was a knife.
the captain with some reticence accepts your tale of being here, searching for treasure, working with Kieran was his name that he knows, and then returning to the mainland to see the village under attack, and accepts the idea that you assisted in attempting to defend the village and defeated whatever this flying lady was, and chased off the remainder of the undead. He says, if all this be true, then ye are owed some thanks by the Zenith fleet. Though we will sorely miss
Ears perk up.
Though we will sorely miss the tribute from the village, perhaps at some point the villagers that you say may have fled will return and we can aid them in rebuilding. As long as the threat is truly eliminated, as you've described,
Yeah,
It
let's not look too close.
the best possible outcome. Should you wish it, I could bring you aboard our vessel and, oh, Alex is gone. Let's see if we get him back before I finish my monologue here.
How large is this crew, do you think? Like 8 people or like 28 people?
Those who are on shore right now,
Yeah.
there are about a dozen on shore right now. A little more than that, probably between
How many
12,
seats in the boats
15.
are there?
These are large rowboats with like 4 rows of seating. So each boat holds like 8, maximum, probably 8 men. So on shore with Captain Shallan right now, you see probably about a dozen men.
Okay.
All right, hang on just a second. Okay. So the captain was saying that he would be willing to take you aboard his vessel. The vessel is called Damon's Folly. I could take you aboard Damon's Folly, and in thanks for your assistance, assist you in return. If you'd like, I would be willing to take you back to meet with the leadership of the Zenith fleet. A meeting with the admirals is no small honor, but I think justified in this case. Or, if you are on a timeline, I would be willing to take you up the coast a ways. Perhaps 2 days at sea, drop you at a coastal village if you're headed north or east. I'd be happy to take you a small distance in either direction to set you on your way, get you quickly away from this, the scene of this disaster.
Can we bring the crickets?
Oh, aye. Plenty of room on the Folly for your crickets.
Yeah, let's go 2 days up the coast.
Yeah. You don't want to meet the admirals?
Sure. No, I don't want to meet the
Sure.
admirals.
No.
Sure,
No.
sure, absolutely not.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, just okay.
I think that's a terrible idea.
No, okay. You could always use more friends.
Where's Alex?
He's right here.
Here,
No, okay.
Did you hide? Is he hidden from you?
Yes, no, I haven't.
I closed the window by accident and was gone for a moment.
All right, Potom, what are your thoughts here? You're offered passage up the coast in either direction. You've also been offered a meeting with the admirals of the Zenith fleet.
Oh.
Always use more friends, all right?
Yeah, but they're not our friends, guys.
But they could be our friends.
Hang on.
But they
Captain,
also treasure
sir, can I just have a moment with my
Patriots.
compatriots here? One moment.
Of course, of course. He reaches in his vest and pulls out an an elaborately engraved silver flask and just starts swigging as he chats up what you guessed is his first mate.
The second we make a circle, Air's like, "Did you check out that flask?"
It's a really nice flask.
That's a.
We should
Okay.
not meet with the admirals of the Zenith Fleet.
Well, here's the thing: that if we're looking for people to help us track down these skeletons, I mean, who better than the admirals of the Zenith Fleet?
I know. Yeah, and those guys, they have cool stuff, cool gear. Those freaking Minotaurs, they're like monks. They have nothing worth anything.
Yeah.
Minotaurs suck.
They live like holy men.
It's just more people that we're deceiving. And as soon as they find out that we are,
Air shrugs.
Ah,
Air's kind of likes the idea of some pirate friends, but that's
ultimately, what we should do is just walk away from all of this, like I suggested in the first place. But now we're in it, and we're supposed to take responsibility for our actions. Potom looks over at Pando and gives her the wide eyes.
And I think she gives you a very serious look in return and says, "That's right, Pod."
So ultimately, do we want to go and hunt down these skeletons, or should we go back to Nantong? I mean, I guess I'm not against going back to Nantong, and we got a free ride.
I don't know. I mean, Air's fine with the original plan of going to Nantong. I just suppose I wouldn't want to miss if this might be a one-time opportunity to make inroads with the pirate fleet.
I imagine that we could probably still make inroads with the pirate fleet as we go. We just won't have the attention of the Admiralty.
we are never going to make inroads with them. We are deceiving them.
Well, if you keep your mouth shut.
Deceiving, Pando, I think, would ask, deceiving them about what?
Yeah, we're not really
About the
deceiving.
role that we played in the destruction of this village.
That's in the past. We're in that line of
Well, I mean, I realize we omitted the part about releasing
The truth.
500
Just-
skeletons.
And release Torpedo.
We're on the same side though, where we would be. We're communicating the same goals.
And we definitely that village. We didn't hurt it at all. Huh.
We tried to help, honestly. I tried my best. By the time I got to shore, everyone was
I killed a
dead.
lot. I killed a lot of ghouls. Okay.
And we
Yeah.
defeated.
Did kill a lot of ghouls.
Maybe we should be asking for a reward from the fleet, from the Admiralty.
I don't think we should press our luck that way.
I think they got gold and silver to burn, is what I'm thinking.
I think that they came here looking for payment.
I mean, they could probably help us kill a whole. There's probably multiple other villages along the shoreline here that they do protect too. So
Is it one of those?
Now, as we go along, if those other villages have seen anything that we are particularly looking for.
This is gonna be awkward when they like try to shake down the next village and we're being like,
You haven't seen any skeletons, have you? I was wondering.
I
No
mean, they
reason.
probably are very interested in the threat to their other income streams.
That's true. We have actually, that's a good point. We have valuable information.
Mm-hmm.
Information is, I was gonna say information is money, but it's not. Time is money. Information is power.
I don't feel like we should do it, but that there is an argument to be made for going to the admirals and saying, "Hey, we would love to help you with this threat to your other streams of income." Not in those words.
Air's all about FaceTime, Air is about making connections, doing handshakes,
Building a professional network.
Yeah. Her LinkedIn profile is very impressive.
Yeah. Well, as a reminder, Captain Shallan is sitting there and available
for us.
for you to ask questions about the situation. So if you have questions about the Zenith, you're hypothesizing about the Zenith fleet a little bit right now, but you have someone who's a member of said fleet sitting in front of you.
Yeah, we don't want to look like.
Yeah, let's ask them
simpletons,
some
though.
questions. I'd like to know a few things about the Zenith fleet.
Potom will position himself very close to Freya, like elbowing.
Distance, yeah.
Freya's about to start asking questions, man.
That's why he just put himself in elbow distance of you. Excellent.
Air tries to like size up her hat with like the pirate that's next to her. Just, getting like styling advice or wearing it. Yeah.
Air's hat is in the top quartile
Oh yeah.
of hats.
Okay. Nothing to be embarrassed about.
At least for the away team here.
Right.
On land.
Right. I mean, if she goes to the Admiral team, maybe there's something.
The captain
is
has got
another
you
league. Yeah.
beat by a wide margin. But apart from their first mate, who is not rocking a cool hat, but has like a kerchief
Right.
kind of thing going on, there are a few decent hats around here. But
Skull caps.
you're doing well
Yeah.
By comparison.
So what's his name again? The captain guy?
Captain Shalon.
Shalon.
Yarb Shalon.
I just keep hearing.
Okay,
Shalom.
Yarb.
That's-
I got some questions here. I mean, you know what? We always like a good fight too, honestly. So we're interested. We're a little bit worried about people that we've met along the way in these coastal villages, also, and different places that we've been around here, getting attacked by these skeletons. So we are willing to, head down to try to intercept some of these skeletons. Do you think that the Admiralty or is into protecting? Do you have an interest in protecting other towns?
I don't remember any mention of skeletons, but
Oh,
yes, the Zenith fleet.
that's a problem with
Can't
lying.
Protect.
We can't let Freya.
No, I really like how she's become the face for this party.
Or ghouls.
Yeah. Why is that?
You know what? Let's let Freya talk. Let her take the lead on
And
this.
I very much believe that the Potham was there, like, oh,
There were skeletons
they
and
were
ghouls.
they were spooky.
Why would, yeah.
Well,
Schools. Yeah. Ghouls. Skeletons.
to answer your
It
question,
was a bad.
to answer your question directly,
Horse apiece.
the fleet protects all the villages on the coast in this region. Those, at least, that have made arrangements with the fleet to provide food, shelter for our sailors when situations demand it, and who pay the tithe to the Admiralty. 36 villages up and down the coast in this area fall under the protective umbrella of the Zenith fleet. We take that duty very seriously.
how large is the fleet?
By manpower or masts?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. I had some of this. Well over 150 masts float under the banner of the fleet. Best estimate, 1,000 men answer the call of the Admiralty. We're no minor pirate gang. The
Yeah,
fleet
yeah.
is a true power in this region.
The village didn't make any mention of you. It's just why I seem a little surprised.
Well, we're no government. We're an independent organization that keeps the region safe.
Also, when we showed up, I mean, their fishing outfit was in sort of shambles. I gave them an idea to, make their operation much more efficient.
All the dead villagers. You gave them an idea.
I'm sure the departed
I guess I'm
souls of
surprised
these
that,
fishermen.
Appreciate.
out of such a large organization that you're not, making your profits better by, networking your talents that you protect.
Well,
Sorry to be critical.
not at all. My small granite-skinned friend, you make interesting points, but they are points that would probably go over the heads of most sailors. As I said, we are not an organizing body. We are no government. We are not interested in interfering in the lives of those we protect. We, the members of the fleet, love to sail the seas. We love to, and he looks at Freya, engage in a fight or two to get the blood stirring. And we hold to a code, an honorable code to keep safe those who cannot protect themselves. And all we ask in exchange is that they support our life at sea.
I
And rum.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Captain. I'm just finding it
God.
difficult to believe that these villagers were paying you to keep your lifestyle of jauntiness, and you swore to protect them.
A small cheer goes up from the other sailors when you say jauntiness.
Yet I look around and this town is, well, for lack of a better word, decimated. What were they really paying you for?
Air, for the first time in this conversation, pulls Palm aside and goes like, "Where is this going? Where is this going?" They outnumber us 3-1.
There is no doubt that we have failed this village, and for that, all of us mourn. Had we been here and known of the danger, but by your own description, this army of undead swept in unprompted in a matter of hours, even surprising you who were occupying the village at the time, and wiped everyone out in a single day. So while I understand your justifiable frustration with the unnecessary death and destruction of this village, I feel that too. I must take some umbrage at your continued accusation that we were supposed to do something while we were days away at sea, while you here occupying the village were unable to save it.
Here's my next question for you, Captain. Why be distracted with going to the Admiralty when we could be sailing on to the next village under your care?
I already offered to do that. I was waiting for you to choose which of the options I offered you, and thanks for your help in this village. Happy to take you east or north on the Folly, or should you want to directly face-to-face receive the honor of a meeting with the Admiralty and hear their thanks in person, I also offered you that chance. I'm starting, to be honest, to regret my offer and considering retracting it at this point, unless another member of your party has a different tack to take.
Yeah, Air pulls Palm aside again. Why are we instigating them again?
Right.
I guess I'm over the bluster of these pirates who swear protection,
Oh, God.
yet we're nowhere around to help us with Upido.
Yeah.
So either let's go with them or not. At this point, I am not impressed.
Well,
Okay.
Air feels like we should at least
apologize to them.
we should at least preserve their. We should at least preserve the relationship enough so that they'll take us up the coast.
Take us up the coast 2 days. Let's just go with that.
Significant amount of time, faster than what we normally would have. Take advantage of them then, if you have such a low opinion of them.
Okay, let's do that.
Whew. Air interjects and is like, I apologize for my Rocky
Associate.
friend. Yeah. He felt for the villagers intensely.
I can understand. It was a beautiful village filled with lovely people, and we also deeply mourn their passing.
And we would be. Undermining.
How do you feel about fighting ghouls? This is what I'd like to know.
Well,
Fighting monsters. If we go up the coast a little bit, guys want to fight some monsters?
we like to fight.
Yeah.
And a little cheer goes up.
Woo!
Jaunty.
Okay.
Jauntiness.
Yeah, if we would be most obliged if you would take us a little ways up the coast.
Yeah, you guys taking it in and out will somehow get us to where we need to be.
And we fully feel the honor of being invited to see the Admiralty. If you will send them our
Rain check,
regrets.
you know, we'll
Send them our
yeah,
regrets.
another
We are we need to be on our way. But thank you for that offer.
Fair enough. We will depart at first light. Already, we were continuing our patrols, headed northward. So if that's the direction you wish to go, you can join us. We will make our way sailing north for about 2 more days before we turn about and head back to the headquarters to meet with the Admiralty and make our report. You're welcome on our ship for that time.
All
You can
right.
disembark whenever you choose.
Right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, Captain Shallan, it extends the invitation should you wish to not camp overnight in the destroyed village, to spend the night on the ship.
Sounds delightful.
I'm not sure what would smell worse, the ship or the rotting village.
One is an unknown quantity, and one is well known to you at this point. So that's your call.
I think Air wants to immerse herself into the pirate culture.
Yeah.
I think she'll go on the ship with the expectation that there'll be jauntiness
And possibly another spyglass.
yeah.
Seems likely that both are.
The second anyone walks up on the deck and has a spyglass, she's gonna walk up right next to them
I like it.
Let me have.
I see.
We've all got one of those. All right, very good. So, hopping aboard the rowboats, you are taken out to the ship. Too many separate notes pages. Sorry, everybody. Had the name of the ship. Somebody's Folly.
Somebody's folly.
Damon's Folly.
Damon's
Yeah, there-
folly.
I was gonna ask who that was, but I thought it'd be rude.
Um,
I don't know, former lover, who knows?
As you,
This is a topic.
Just a
as you approach the
Demon
Folly, you can see she's a much larger vessel than the ship you took on your little shakedown cruise. Big 3-master, several decks deep, with a row of balustae on either side, as well as one up on the bow, one on the aft. Heavily armed and somewhat armored as well. This is a ship not necessarily built for speed, but it looks like it could hold its own in a slugfight with another vessel, or perhaps even bombard a coastal encampment or something of that nature. Your best guess is she hosts a crew of 50 to 75 sailors.
Oh wow, that's not a small ship.
This is a small galleon, or perhaps a large frigate,
Right.
something of that nature.
So it might even go toe to toe with some low level Imperial Navy ships if necessary.
Sure. Yeah. This is not your stereotypical like quick hitter pirate vessel. You know, swoop in and do a raid and swoop out quick in the night. This is
They're not easily pushed around. They're not easily intimidated. Yeah.
yeah. This is more like you know, if you're looking for a metaphor to D&D, this is the fighter paladin kind of a ship, not the rogue archetype.
Sure.
It's come in, so it's the barbarian version of a ship.
Okay.
It's made to get up close and then pound you,
Yeah.
and it can take plenty of damage. Then it's big. Probably moves a lot of cargo if need be too. It's got a substantial hold. Captain Shallan welcomes you on board, and you are given some space in not luxurious cabins, but there are some guest cabins here. Certainly not made for VIPs, or at least that's not what you were offered. But you're all given a single room to share with 4 bunks in it and some modest furniture. And you're invited to share an evening meal as all the sailors dig into some basic fare. And basically got your run of the ship, unless if there's something specific you want to do, or you can bed down from the night. They've expressed their plan is to leave at first light.
Air fully embraces it. She acts like she's always been there. She tries to make small talk with some of the crew members.
Yeah.
With mixed results.
Let's see how the results are. Make a straight up charisma check to just see how
pretty charismatic.
Air's vibe is.
20, not natural.
It's very good. I think Air falls back on her experience in the seedier parts of Chukip, a long history of interacting with people down on the docks and people down on their luck and people living in the gray areas of the law. Pirates aren't such a mystery to you. And I think you jump right in and very quickly find yourself after the meal, maybe rolling some dice in the corner below decks, drinking a little bit, walking around on the dock, comparing
Oh, check this
spy
check this one
glasses.
out.
Yeah.
You think that's cool?
And having some
Check
fun.
out the spyglass.
Yeah. So I think Air ends
Just as they go in the wrong direction. Oh, yeah, right.
Air ends the night not with like besties, but with the if not respect, at least the crew is comfortable with Air.
Yeah. Next
by
morning,
the end of the night.
she's like calling them by their name and stuff.
Yeah, and everyone else in your party is like,
Freya's like,
how do you know everybody? Like, did you sleep last night?
Right.
Yeah.
Put nothing past him. How much money did he lift off of the crew?
Yeah. Exactly. We gotta talk about that.
Yeah.
All right. So in the morning, really just as the sun is breaking the horizon, you hear the rattle of anchor chains as they are drawn up, and the snap of the sails as they take on wind, and the Damon's Folly starts slowly making its way out to sea. The weather today is good, as has been the weather pretty much every day in this protected little cove, and you make pretty good time as you head out and start making your way around the Horn. After probably half a day, the ship is able to turn almost due north. The Damon's Folly sails a good 2 to 3 miles off the coast. Like I said, she's a pretty deep-keeled vessel, so she doesn't hug the coastline, but the coast is in sight at all times as they make their way. And if you happen past the captain at any point, he would be happy to mention some of their plans. So near the day's end, they plan to make a stop into another coastal village, this one much smaller than Quan Chu, that you will pass probably very late afternoon. And their plan is to put in there, check in with the village headman, and perhaps have a meal before they move on the next day.
I feel like Potham has all of the questions about this. When was the last time that you stopped in at this village? You said that you mentioned that that your 150 ships, 1,000 men So are you on?
150 masts. 150 masts. You're a lubber and may not have translated, but 150 masts does not make 150 ships.
Oh,
The
okay.
Folly, as you see, has 3 masts.
Great. So you have 150 masts.
She truly is great.
My, she's Yar.
When was the last time you stopped in here? When was the last time the last ship stopped in here?
Captain Shalon calls out to their first mate. Check the log. When was the last time we came through? And after a quick check, the mate reports that the Folly passed through this village last 12 days ago.
Yeah, well, there's lots of threats around here, so we should probably check in on them.
When you arrive near the village, they
50 ships.
What's that?
Bottom's doing mental math.
They anchored the ship.
50 ships.
Yeah, maybe. They anchored the ship about a half a mile off the coast, and the captain and a small group of crew jump into one of those rowboats and prepare to cast off for the coast, for the village.
Air attempts to follow.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going with.
Oh,
Okay.
I guess we're all going in.
Yeah.
The captain says, Yar, very well, if you wish to make landfall. I know that lubbers often miss the feel of sand under their toes, so should you wish to spend some time, join us for a meal. And another rowboat is lowered with a couple of sailors to help take you to land. When you arrive in the village, it is, as I said, smaller, substantially smaller than Quan Chu, probably half the size. So maybe 200 people live here. 6, 7 families that have probably been here for quite some time. So when I say families, I mean extended families.
Right.
It appears at a glance that the primary trade of this village is fishing, but there are some small subsistence farms. It looks like quite a few fruit trees and things like that are organized into orchards around the outskirts of the village. But there is really no port here to speak of. There's one long dock, but clearly this is not a place where trade comes in and out. This is a pretty isolated village. The village headman comes out to greet the rowboats as they come in. Clearly someone flagged him down to let them know that the ship had been spotted. And he's waiting on the dock as the boats pull up. And he waves an enthusiastic greeting with a big smile. It says, Captain Shalon, 'tis good to see you again. Has been a few weeks now. And Shalon calls back, Marcus, Yar, a friendly face again. We bring dark news, dark tidings, I'm afraid. But we are glad to see you hale and hearty. Could we find a quiet place to talk before we dine? Of course, my friend. Come with me to my hut and we shall talk. A parley like times before. And the two of them start heading off towards one of the huts on the perimeter of the village, leaving you and some of the other sailors behind.
Tom's going to look for somebody else in charge.
Okay.
Who else is in charge here?
How are you going about that?
Not like that. He'll just
Look for people with big hats.
usually, right. There's usually somebody with a hat.
Well, after the captain and the village headman depart, the largest hat you see is Ayers. But after that, there are a few local men near the dock that are wearing pretty respectable straw hats that look designed to keep the sun off their faces while they work. One of them is repairing fishing nets, and the other is cleaning up basically fish carcasses, putting them all into a big woven basket. And both of them are middle-aged for a village of this size, I would say. They've got dark tan, wrinkly skin and some gray in their beards.
Yeah, 24.
Bottom's gonna just kind of wander over and start a little chit chat of talking about repairing the net, and
Sure.
Pepper.
A small one.
he's gonna pepper in questions about the pirates.
What is the objective of your line of questioning?
All right. At this point, Bottom does not trust the pirates at all. There's something about their story that just doesn't seem factual.
Okay.
The size of their organization, the frequency of their visits to villages. So he's going to just ask questions about the villagers' thoughts on the pirates and how great it is that they're being protected and yada yada yada, just to get a sense of what the villagers actually think of the pirates.
All right. Why don't you start with a persuasion check to see how open these guys are to accepting you into a transparent conversation?
Well, we're going to start talking about repairing nets and the different knots and things. I mean, Bottom is going to try to at least, with his engineering knowledge, talk about which knots are used and what's the better way about repairing a net. And, how are you doing this? Oh, that's a great idea. Blah, blah, blah.
Ever thought about doing it this way?
You're bad at this. I have a better way for you.
17.
All right. 17 is very good. With your banter about net technology, you seem to put these fishermen at ease fairly quickly, and you fall into just some small talk as they do their work. And bit by bit, you start weaving in questions here and there about the pirates, about the Zenith fleet and their mindset about it. The main takeaway you get here is they're not hostile to the Zenith fleet. Like any subsistence level, poor people, they're not thrilled to pay a tithe on a regular basis, but also both of these guys basically make it clear that this always been the way things are here. They've lived in this village their entire lives, so for 50 years, the Zenith fleet has been this entity, this presence that ostensibly keeps them safe. The village has been peaceful their whole lives. They've never been attacked by raiders. They've never faced some violent situation. The pirates have never openly mistreated them. Every time the pirates arrive, it seems to be a friendly interaction. So the overall vibe you get is kind of like how your average American feels about paying taxes. Like, yeah, I'm not pumped about it. Like, I don't like writing that check when it happens, but I guess I like having roads, and I'm glad I'm not in an El Salvadoran prison. Like, that's pretty good.
The Pentax champion and also.
But it's your casual conversation does not reveal like some sinister, oh, we're just waiting to rise up, or you know that we've always lived under this terrible hardship, or the pirates beat us when you're not looking. It's just sort of like, yeah, this is how things work here. They take some of our money or our goods, and we live a peaceful life, and that's kind of what it is.
Have they ever heard of any? They must talk to other villages. Have they ever heard about any other villages? Interactions, even rumors.
They've probably heard stories of villages being actively defended by the pirates in situations where there was some threat.
Air does that to Pono. She hits him like on the arm. Like, yeah, well.
And then there's just one like little kid that's like, oh yeah, I love the pirates.
The pirates on the ship,
Pirates
man.
are cool.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah, I think maybe it's almost disappointingly banal.
No grand conspiracy.
Is the response that you get from these guys, like, yeah, you know, death and taxes, man. Like,
Yeah, okay.
I'm more interested in the
All right.
its daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
We got other things on mind.
yeah, have you seen the coconuts on that on that tree on the outskirts of town?
Yeah.
That's a healthy load of coconuts. We're gonna get some good harvest.
It's like, what is
Just very bored men in a tiny rural village.
any misshapen trunk is
It like goes in a curlicue, man. It's crazy.
yeah.
I mean, I've been talking about it
It's
for
a-
15 years now,
it's the
but it never
imagination
gets
running
old.
wild.
All right.
Great. The
Sometimes,
least irony of pirates is what we're dealing with. I think the Potter might even say that as he's walking away. The least piratey of pirates.
well, they're pretty piratey. Have you seen their hats?
Jaunty.
Some of their hats are pretty piratey. Not all of them. Not all of them match up to your hat. That's a good hat.
Bob was really hoping that he could like liberate a village from these pirates.
Good.
I still think that Potter could if he wanted to. He's just, at this point, is ready to be done with the pirates, so he's
Moved on.
one day away from being done with the pirates.
Yeah. All right. Well, after a couple hours, the captain and the headman come out of the hut, and the rest of the villagers gather around and they start to prepare a communal meal. Some kind of large fantasy forest pig is being roasted on a spit.
Sounds great.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, there's tropical fruits and probably some kind of tuber mashed up and roasted on the coals. It's a pretty tasty spread. They don't have a lot in the way of seasonings around here, so it's most of the seasoning you get is
Salt water?
sweet.
Okay.
There's some salt. Yeah, I mean they have access to salt, so that's not tough. But again, poor village. It's not like
Right.
they've got loads of spices or exotic, flavors, that kind of stuff. But it's fresh and it's cooked with love, and you have a nice meal. Shortly after the meal, the captain and crew head back to the rowboats and start making their way back out to the ship. Gonna go back to the ship with them, or are you staying here?
Here, we'll go back.
Back to the ship, I guess.
Okay.
We got one more day sailing.
Gotta be close to your mode of transportation here, right?
Yeah. All right. So back to the ship. They'll set out again in the morning. And anything you're up to tonight? Air continuing to build relationships. All right. Very good.
Losing money at dice or making money, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like that's a little bit up to your intention.
Freya's trying to interest anyone in a game of Dragon Chess, and no one seems to know how to play or care.
Nor is there a dragon chess set on.
No, Freya has.
Oh,
a
you
Dragon
have one.
Chess set.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have I have a 3 dragon anti set.
Oh, a card game.
An ante.
Oh, it must be.
Oh,
Is it like
Oh, maybe is that like a cups?
yeah, maybe that's what it
Maybe.
is.
Well, now I want to know. 3 dragon ante set.
ANTE, anti, right?
This game is a combination of luck and skill. Duh. It's a card game.
Oh, okay.
Blends concepts from traditional card games such as poker, hearts, and rummy.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's like a gambling kind of.
The deck consists of 70 cards plus 2 reference cards. The structure of the deck is reminiscent of standard playing cards. Each card in the deck represents either a dragon or a mortal and has a strength between 1 and 13 and has a special ability or power. Each
Sounds like a great
player
game.
gets 6 cards dealt to them initially. There's a maximum hand size of 10 cards, and players are not allowed to have more than that at any time. Players keep their hands secret from other players, and the undealt cards are face down in a draw pile. There's all the rules for this game are laid
Wow.
out in here. It's awesome. Yeah, so the dragon cards are the colors of the evil dragons, black, blue, green, red, white, Tiamat, and a Dracolich. And the colors of the good dragons, brass, bronze, copper, gold, and silver, and there's also a Bahamut card.
I'm gonna try to buy a deck of this.
That's-
You know that it exists.
For sure somebody sells this. Yeah, cool. Anyway, I think 3 Dragon Ante is a readily accepted game on this ship. I think the only person that you could likely find to play dragon chess with is the first mate, who is a badly scarred human man with a bald head and like 17 hoop earrings of various sizes. He's the kind of person that it checks your stereotypes about about who plays dragon chess, because nobody has any interest in this until you hear a quiet knock on your door and he shows up and expresses an interest. And what you discover is that he has a deceptively sharp intellect and is a very skilled player. And so in the, let's say
Pleasant surprise.
a pleasant surprise. So in the, let's say 3 games that you managed to play in the evening before he's called away to his duties, 2 of them he fights you to a draw, and you barely manage to squeak out a win in the other when he resigns before you're even sure that you have a win.
Okay.
He has decided that you've got him and resigns. But you have some fun with that.
That's good. What's the first mate's name?
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. That's a
Yeah.
perfect name.
The crew call him Barto.
Bardo.
Very piratey.
Yeah. And now I better write that down because sometime a month from now you guys will ask me about that.
Alex,
Hey, whatever happened to old Barto?
Alex,
Good old
are you in the office area of the?
Kitchen.
Oh, you're in the kitchen. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good at dragon chess. All right, just update the wiki. So
like I said, the listeners will take care of it.
they got it. They're so good at
On top of
updating the
it.
wiki. Okay. In the morning, the ship sets off once again, the Folly, heading north. The weather is getting a little choppier, or the seas are getting a little choppier as the weather becomes slightly more inclement as you head north. There's brief periods of rain and stiff winds, but you make decent time. It takes a lot of weather to interrupt a ship the size of the Folly. But this is a place where I am curious, does anyone's character struggle with seasickness?
No, I don't think we've historically.
No, I don't think that we've because we've been to sea before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
This would be really funny if there was.
just puking your guts out all the time. Yeah, I mean, you guys have spent time at sea before, and we
Yeah.
didn't bring it up, so.
Yeah.
All right, towards the end of the second day, if you check in with the captain, he will let you know that their last port of call before they turn about and start heading back to the headquarters of the Zenith fleet is a small trading port town that they will not reach until after the sun sets. So they expect to enter the town with lamps lit on the deck, but this is a larger. It is not a city, but a modest-sized town that is primarily exists just to welcome goods from the sea. Not radically different from Featherwand, if you remember your time there. It is more of a it's more like a Amazon distribution center than a town. It is set up specifically to welcome ships and unload their cargoes, or welcome wagon trains and load their cargoes onto ships. But there's a sizable population, especially compared to the small villages that you've been visiting. Probably a few thousand people living there. And the name of this town is Yangtze, Y-A-N-T-E. So, the sun sets, and under cover of dark, you make your way into the harbor of Yangtze. The Folly is still too big to dock here, but it does drop anchor a decent distance out, and the captain tells you that he'll be staying on board the ship tonight and will be checking in with the dockmaster in the morning, but offers you a crewman or two to take you on shore this evening if you're ready to depart, as he knows you are on a schedule.
I appreciate that, Captain.
Yeah, I feel like Potham is itching to leave, right?
Potham turns to his friends and goes, "It's time to go."
Yes.
You even grabs us a little bit.
Okay. All right, very good. As you are moving your supplies onto the rowboats, surprising number of the pirates come out to say goodbye to Air. A couple of them come up and pay you a couple gold coins from what they owe you from last night, and then you proceed to hand most of those to another guy who won quite a few hands last night after hours.
Gives Rat Skin a hug and says, "You know what? You're better without her."
Oh, Ratskin. Yeah, little tear in his eye as he says, you're just such a good listener. I'll miss you. And then you all hop onto the rowboat and take your leave of Damon's Folly. 15 minutes of hard rowing later, you find yourself on the dock in Yangtze, and your best estimate is that you have eaten up about half the journey back to Nantong, maybe even a little more than that, since you can now take well-traveled trade roads the rest of the way to Nantong rather than blazing a trail through the wilderness. But it is nighttime, so you can push on if you choose, or you can find lodging here in Yangtze. Or you can do something else entirely.
Let's find some lodging and set out at first light.
Yep, agreed.
Okay. There's not a lot in the way of high-end lodging here in Yangtze, but there is, I would say, there are two tiers of lodging. There is economy lodging for the relatively destitute. This would be the equivalent of the truck stop motel kind of a thing, where you get what you pay for, but you don't pay much. And then there's the place where the actual merchants who maybe
Right.
own the wagon train or the ship stay. And while those aren't luxurious, they're maybe closer to the real world equivalent of a Holiday Inn, not a Holiday Inn Express, but like an actual Holiday Inn, a fancy one.
In a very uncharacteristic moment for Air, she offers to pay and
Oh.
splurge for the high end
Oh,
All
hotel,
right, Air,
making
thanks.
some allusion to Three Dragon Auntie.
so the crew is paying for
Yeah.
your lodging. All right, it'll be for the entire party. If you're going to get 2 rooms, which has sort of been your party's standard operating procedure in the past, it is 2 gold, 1 gold per room.
Air pulls out the cigars and goes, "What? 2 gold?" Okay, she'll pay for 2 gold.
The sort of mousy looking human behind the counter goes, supply and demand.
No tariffs being applied here, right?
There's a lot of, have you heard about the trade war with the dwarves? There's an orange dragon. All right, so y'all have a quiet night in Yangtze, and in the morning you can set out. Your crickets have been unloaded and are available to you. And it doesn't take much investigation. A quick chat with the innkeeper gives you clear directions in the direction of Nantong. With good travel conditions, you're a 2 days ride from the city.
Okay,
Oh, man.
easy peasy.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah, easy enough.
Here we go.
off you go. Somebody give me a luck roll. Somebody give me a perception check.
Oh, all right. Sorry. Can we just back up a moment? The evening before we go to sleep, Pam is definitely going to imagine there's a hotel bar.
Oh yeah.
Potom will gingerly inquire about ghouls and skeletons, and if anyone's heard anything or stories from the road.
Sure. Okay.
Ooh, good one.
So you do overhear some rumors, especially when you kind of prime the pump of conversation. There's a lot of traveling merchants here, and so caravanners at the end of a journey, slamming back some brews, they've been bored on the back of a wagon for a long time. They're happy to talk about what they saw on the road. And it starts slowly at first, but eventually a fairly significant accumulation of rumors start to come out as people either echo somebody else or try to one-up somebody else's story. These stories, however, are much more heavily featured ghouls. You don't hear a lot about skeletons, and you certainly don't hear anything about heavily armed infantry-style skeletons of the kind that you saw. It kind of feels like that would come up if a literal army of skeletons marched into a village. But there has been, it seems, a veritable epidemic of undead disturbances across the mainland, particularly reports from small towns, some of which experienced relatively minor attacks, but some of which have been wiped out entirely. So a few caravanners talk about riding through a village that they've been through 100 times and finding it just laid to waste. A couple hundred people just gone from the map, all their homes destroyed.
Has anyone seen, are the Minotaurs alerted? Are there Minotaur armies out there? Has anyone seen any type of resistance?
So patrols have definitely increased. It seems that the authorities are certainly aware that something's going on, that there is increased danger, but there's been very little communication from the Synod about the nature of the problem. Just more soldiers on the road, more Synod soldiers specifically. There's been almost no response from the Empire, however. So the Imperial Blade presence is unchanged. The only response that has been observed is more Synod troops and soldiers out on the trade routes, sometimes accompanying caravans, sometimes at the scene of a destroyed village, doing some sort of investigation. But the Synod hasn't made any public statements or hasn't like sent criers out or talked necessarily about what's going on, but they're clearly responding.
Do the villagers find that unusual that the Empire wouldn't have more blades here, or not?
I think there's a sort of,
Or is this just normally like the sphere of influence of the Minotaurs anyway?
no, I think that the reaction is not surprise, but one of more jaded resignment, jaded
frustration,
resignation.
yeah.
Like, of course, the Empire doesn't care
Right.
about what's going on. So at least we're seeing Minotaur troops out and about trying to help with this a little bit, but the Synod is also classically tight-lipped about anything that's going on. They don't want to cause a panic. They don't want to tell people what the situation is. They just send a bunch of guys with axes out to take care of it. But no one is surprised that the Empire doesn't give a rat's at this point, because it doesn't seem to have been significantly impacting trade revenues yet.
Yeah, that's what they care about. Okay.
Potom, why don't you roll one other check for me? Give me an investigation check. I want to see if you tap into a slightly deeper vein of gossip here.
26.
Well, then, yes, you do. I think you, because of your stature, sometimes people miss the fact that you're even there in the middle of a conversation. People literally and figuratively talk over you at times, especially the bigger folks. And because of that, in this particular evening, you are able to listen in on many conversations in the tap room, some of which are not whispered, but are pitched at a level that they don't want people to necessarily listen in. And this allows you to hear one other rumor that is not common throughout the room, but has an interesting thread that catches your attention. And what the two are talking about is rumors about the return of a deity. A few of these caravanners are discussing the possibility that the gods have come back, because they met a guy who met a guy who was in Nantong when they saw someone have an epiphany and come to an elevated spiritual understanding. And the other guy that he's talking to is eager. There's clearly this rumor is confirming for him something that he heard about, because he heard that in several villages in the area that he often works through, that dying people have begun to talk about a vision at the moment of their passing, and that vision has similar characteristics to what other people are saying. There's some common thing that people are seeing at the moment of their death, and some of those out in the sticks are saying that something like this is a spiritual sign that the gods are returning. So
I feel like at that moment, Bottom would startle everyone and be like, "What was the vision?"
Alright. You do startle them a great deal because I think they both thought you were furniture before this happened. But they're pretty deep in their cups, and this guy's really excited to like tell this juicy piece of gossip
Right.
to an interested audience. And so he doesn't have great, he hasn't seen the vision himself, but what little he's been able to piece together, it seems that people are describing a vision of a great stronghold growing in the wasteland. That those who are trying to translate this vision and what he thinks himself is that it's a metaphor for a great strong power returning to protect the land in its time of need. So this darkness is sweeping across the land, there's ghouls and people are getting attacked and we don't know what's going on. So it makes sense to this guy that the gods are coming back at the right time to be this bastion of strength for the people, to keep them safe in the midst of the wasteland that the world is becoming. To make the mainland great again. Not that part.
Great.
That was extra. That's above the table. That's not canon.
And then he put on a red hat and he was like, "Well, gotta go."
Yep. Gotta go vote against my self-interests as a small businessman. See ya.
I go collect my social security check. That way.
But God, it feels good.
We sure
Well, oh my God, it's off recording. I have a lot of things to say about that. Living in a red state now.
yeah.
Okay. Well, Bottom will go and tell his friends what he found out.
Okay.
I wonder if there's a literal kingdom growing or a stronghold growing in a wasteland. We should find a map.
I mean, we do know where a wasteland is.
Never know where the wasteland is.
The only wasteland in the world,
Well,
I think so.
says Panda. Panda raises her hand and says sarcastically,
the only
the only wasteland in the world.
well,
It's true.
I mean, it is the wasteland that's closest to the rebirth of you, Peter. Okay.
All right.
Anything else tonight? Bedding down?
Yeah. No, I think that's it. I think we can fast forward again to leaving town.
All right, very good. We do not have to play out the whole journey to Nantong if you do not wish to. A 2-day journey on the main trade roads does not involve a lot of risk or chaos.
How many patrols do we see on the road? Minotaur patrols.
I would say over the course of 2 days' journey, you pass traveling south past you one pretty substantial squad, let's say, of Sinnock soldiers. They are uniformed, fairly well outfitted, and led by a low-ranking member of the Sinnock, a priestess. Apart from that, you do see signs of Sinnock soldiers in a few places. So you see a few of them posted up on the outskirts of a village that you pass through. You see an encampment off the trail that has some Sinnock soldiers. So in the course of 2 days, you see a couple dozen soldiers that are clearly part of the Sinnock's forces. And that presence increases as you get closer to Nantong.
I don't know if I want to go into Nantong myself.
I will say it does not give the sense that you're walking into like a war zone or like an occupied city or a city that is fortified.
Right.
It's more like, well, like Carolyn was on her girls trip in Mexico this weekend, and she's like, I said, well, did it feel safe where you were? And she's like, yeah, it felt really safe. She said, but there were also, she's like, this actually also kind of made it feel safe, but there were fully armed, like military dudes walking around, right? Like in fatigues with helmets and assault rifles.
Right.
And like,
Right.
you see that in lots of places that are not the US, right? Where like, they're kind of police, kind of not, but they're not there on a military exercise. They're just there to make sure that everything's good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the vibe you get here. There's just a lot more of them than you remember seeing the last time you were here. It's a city that's ramped up its security, but it's not at war or fortified. It's not at that level.
So here's the thing is that we're gonna need either Freya or Pando, one of the two of you, to go and meet with the Cynac. I mean, I would be happy to go, except that the thing is that they don't know who Air or I are. You and Pando are the ones that went to report Rapido. So we do need one or both of you to go to this meeting.
Fine, I will go. I do not think this is a good idea, though. And what am I trying? What is our end game here? What am I trying to do?
Well, I think that it's important that we report back that.
But what do we want from it?
I think
Ultimately, we need information on where these skeletons are going. If the Cynac guards, who we've seen in abundance around Nantong here, have engaged with them.
Mhm.
Clearly, by their non-sense of urgency, they haven't. But I think getting a little bit of intelligence on what they've been seeing here in town is important to our mission. If we're going to be responsible and take out Yapido.
Yeah, I think it's also anytime we can get someone else to do some of the dirty work. Like if we don't have to kill every single last skeleton, and someone else can kill a skeleton or two. That's beneficial.
Correct. So if we could get some Cynac to, be cannon fodder, that would be great.
Don't use those terms.
You
but
know,
yes.
here's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like, you insisted I get this tracker removed from me, and now the tracker is removed, and now I'm going back there.
You're right. We are setting you up for failure, but
I insisted on getting the tracker removed when I intended to get out of here. But
It was a
we
fail-
needed to be responsible for our actions. And so now this is us being responsible for our actions. So yes, I think that we need to check in.
You can't be blaming everyone for your choices.
no. No. So, okay. All right, I'll go talk to her.
I'll go with you.
Well, I think.
Yeah, I
right?
thought you weren't going to reveal yourself.
No, that's not what I had said. I had said that they don't know me. So if I walk in and be like, oh yeah, hey, we ran into Yapido. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm friends with these folks. But also, I think that we should resist getting trackers. So if they insist on putting trackers in us, we stab them, or something else.
I like how this is coming together.
Air pulls out a dagger.
I don't like
Someone
how
said
it's
stabbing?
going.
It's stabbing time. That's when we stab them.
Ultimately, I don't want to harm anyone. I haven't lost my morals. But I'm not going to be trapped.
Then probably you shouldn't come along, because I have a feeling they're going to reinstall my tracker. I mean, we didn't have a ton of choice.
Did you try to stab them?
I was not going to stab them.
Yeah. See, here,
I-
I don't think that you went through all of your options.
You could have stabbed him.
I just don't think that if you don't want to get stabbed, or if you don't want to get tracked, the probability that you could get tracked is quite high.
I think that at this point, us returning, I'll sell it. It's fine. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen where we don't get tracked.
All right, so you are entering the city of Nantong, and it sounds like heading to find Administrator Omari, the leader, the matriarch of the Sinnock Temple that you previously met with, to whom you confessed your release of Upido, and who originally placed the tracking spell on you, alongside your commitment to help fight and contain Upido once again.
Yes.
Okay. Friendly reminder, the other NPCs that you primarily had interactions with here back in Nantong, Morana, the Mastercraft merchant,
Oh, yeah.
is in town here. He helped you out before you headed up to the college town. You rode there on one of his caravans.
Yeah, I'm free to walk into
And we sold them. We sold them antique magical weapons.
Yeah, you unloaded some interesting goods to him. You also didn't directly meet this person, but you had an indirect encounter with Drixantian Lial, the Imperial Mayor, the Elven Imperial Mayor of Nantong. More specifically, you were approached by one of his minions who was trying to engage you to help undercut the credibility of the Sinnock. You kind of dismissed him in a conversation at the arena while some of your friends were fighting.
Oh yeah.
You also witnessed a Minotaur named Stendar, the Dishonored, who fought at the same time in the arena as Freya, who was a former champion who was trying to reclaim his honor by fighting on the honor path.
Oh, yeah.
So just some of the faces that are running around.
We also contacted the faction of oh god, what was the underground? Who were the people that we were working for?
Yeah, you did speak with a leader of the Yokogawai
Yokogawai, that's right.
cell here in town. I don't remember if we gave that guy a name or not, but yes, you did have brief interactions and make a connection there. So it's a big city, a lot going on here. You could jump right back into that arena anytime. Get back on the honor path. But if you're making your way to the arena and temple at the center of the city, that is very doable. The path is clear to go there.
Ooh, just before we do that, can we stop by the local wizard establishment? Oh, I'm sure that our marketing guy would know where that is. Our market guy.
Morana?
Yeah.
It depends what you mean by wizard establishment.
Well, I have a displacer beast hide that I would like to make into a cloak.
Got it. You're looking for a magical crafter.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, so Morana's establishment can definitely do that work. Though, as you have experienced, their prices are significant. They're a high-end shop, but undoubtedly he could direct you to other folks in Nantong who might be able to help.
Before we go to the Sinnock, let's just stop in at Morana and see if we can just gain any intelligence from him before walking into,
Sure. Yeah.
because he's a friendly face and he knows us and he likes us.
Yeah. Ostensibly. Yeah.
All right, very good. So you make your way to Morana's shop. And as you walk in, a couple things. First, his shop is busier than you remember it being. And quite a few of the customers in this shop are Sinnoh priestesses.
Oh, okay.
They seem to be placing, they're not browsing. They are here with lists, and they are placing bulk orders for things to be produced, or are they're here with like acquisition orders. It is what you observe after watching for just a little bit. Morana himself is very busy behind the counter and rushing back and forth. He looks, as you watch him for a couple minutes, he's a little bipolar. Like in some moments, he looks to be frustrated and annoyed and put out. And then 2 seconds later, he looks thrilled, like overcome with, he's got like a sparkle in his eyes as he seems to be maybe calculating very big numbers in his head.
Oh, yeah.
So he looks really busy, but like a merchant who is though he is stressed and very busy, occasionally remembers how financially beneficial it is to be very busy.
Yeah.
That's the vibe you get from watching this guy for a little bit. And after some time, you realize that if you don't like actually interrupt a conversation, you're not going to get service anymore.
Okay. Interrupted a conversation.
Okay. So
Excuse me?
as you place yourself between Morana, the counter, and one of the lower ranking Sinnoh priestesses here in the room, and kind of flag him down, he looks down over the counter and spots you, and then pretty quickly pegs the rest of your companions in the room, and he says, "Oh, my friends, you have returned. It's been a long time. If you'll
It
give
has
me
been a
just
long
one
time.
moment, I should like to meet with you in a quieter setting." And he points to sort of a side room with a curtain, with a small table in it. Looks like a place where occasionally he has more privileged discussions with customers, or conversations that are meant to happen in private.
Perfect.
And he goes back to his conversation with the priestess, where it sounds like he's aggressively negotiating over the price of magically imbued maces. And if you all head over there and take a seat, he joins you in maybe like 10 minutes. It takes him a little while to wrap up some of what he's working on.
I mean, business is really booming, Morgana.
Yes, though I hate to say it, chaos is often a benefit to those in my line of work. As you know, my true passion is in research and discovery and unlocking the secrets of our world. But my expertise and those that I employ does lend itself to martial pursuits. And as our friends at the Sinnoh seem to be ramping up for something of significance, though as always they are tight-lipped about the threat, well, you have to make hay while the sun shines, as they say.
So you have no idea what they're up to, huh?
Well, I can't say no idea. A good merchant likes to keep his ears open, but
What do you know? And maybe we could fill in the gaps.
An exchange of information is what I'm hearing you offer.
We also do have some business. I have a project that I would like you to work on, but yeah, I think that some mutual exchange of information might benefit us both.
Well, your group has proven trustworthy and, dare I say, useful to me. So I think some small risk is reasonable here. At this, he reaches up and he pulls a small silk cord next to one of the curtains. At a glance, you would have thought this was just part of the tassels on the curtains, but as he pulls it, you can see the cord goes all the way up to the ceiling. And about a second after he pulls it, the room, all of you have the experience of like when you turn on noise canceling headphones. All the background noise disappears. You can still hear Morana just fine, but there's that weird moment of not a hiss, but all the background noise disappears. Yep, cone of silence kind of a situation. And he says, well, you didn't hear it from me.
Of course not.
But I can tell you that the Synod has outspent the Empire by a factor of 5 on equipment, weapons, supplies for their soldiers in just the last month alone. Clearly, something is brewing. Now, everyone that's willing to talk to me won't give me details, but I know for certain it's not a rebellion. It's too blatant. The Empire is clearly aware that the Synod is arming up, but they're not moving. So what that tells me is that this is one of those threats that the Empire considers to be a petty internal matter, or at the very least, the Synod has convinced them that that's what it is. But the other thing I can tell you, apart from the rough numbers that I get from my books, is what I know of people. The better informed, higher ranking members of the Synod who have approached me with large orders, unlike their lower ranked friends, they're anxious, like actually scared of something. And I've not seen that in a long time. So whatever this is, either it's bigger than the Synod wants anyone to know, and we should all be buying insurance, or it's an internal power play that's got a few parts of the Synod scared.
Huh. And you believe that they've downplayed this to the Empire?
Well, if the Empire thought there was a verified threat that was significant enough for them to care about, I'd have acquisition orders pouring in from them as well. Requisition orders pouring in from them as well. And my business really has not moved on that front. The Empire has nearly bottomless coffers, so if they wanted to direct some of that gold my way, I'd be seeing it, I can assure you. They buy top-of-the-line gear when they need it. But we've not really seen any change there. So that tells me that either the Synod has convinced them it's not important, or the Synod has been honest and the Empire doesn't care about it.
Interesting.
I'll tell you what the Empire tends to care about. If there was any hint of rebellion, I'd be getting orders for the kind of hobnailed boots that Empire thugs use to smash down any form of resistance. So it doesn't seem likely that it's that, or it is that, but the Synod wants to keep it quiet to prevent the Empire from bringing a heavier hand to the region.
It's not rebellion.
Well, it seems like we're to the part of this exchange where you say things I don't know.
I think that if you were a wise businessman, that you would start raising an alarm by pushing your goods on the Empire. I think that I know that there is an antique evil, an ancient evil. That sounds weird.
A vintage evil.
A vintage, yes.
I found it at Goodwill. It's great.
A retro
Sounds
evil.
like- Sounds like absinthe.
Throwback evil. You're really gonna like this.
That the Synok is really afraid of, but I mean, we've faced her twice now, and ultimately, I don't quite get it. Don't understand why they're so afraid. But
Hang on. You said her, and you've faced her twice? You're telling me that the literal thousands of armaments that I'm being asked to produce and move into the hands of the Synok are meant to face an individual creature, a woman that you have fought
Twice.
twice,
twice.
The way he says woman, Jesus.
I know.
a female creature that you have fought.
So, I mean, if you could
True.
tap into, you asked us to bring you relics from a Minotaur, any Minotaur relics that we could find when we were out. Where do you think that we found those relics? And what do you think those relics were protecting?
I hope you found them in an abandoned tomb or ruin,
Whatever it was legal.
and that,
Or softly legal.
and I hope that they were protecting
Absolutely nothing.
rats and spiders.
Sure.
But I don't ask questions about these little excursions on purpose.
Yep. And I'm not giving you a whole bunch of breadcrumbs to come to a certain conclusion.
Yeah.
You've lived here far longer than I have been here. What would the Synok be so afraid of?
Well, if I'm connecting dots here, I'm no scholar of ancient history, but it sounds to me like you're confessing to awakening an ancient evil that the Synok is now raising an army to fight against, and yet you have fought this ancient evil twice and don't think it's a big deal. So that part's a little confusing to me. I'm getting some mixed messages about the severity of this issue.
I'm admitting to absolutely nothing. Again, I'm just dropping some breadcrumbs so maybe you can make a conclusion. And as a wise businessman that you are, maybe you could start making deals by raising some rumors with the Empire.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that I manipulated the rumor mill to my profit,
Yeah.
but I think you can probably imagine the shakiness of effectiveness if I just have people out in the taverns mentioning that some old woman that my friends beat up is out there. She's scary. I'm having whatever breadcrumb.
Maybe you
you're
just
laying
leave us
down,
out of it
maybe
altogether.
I don't know what's at the end of it, I guess is what I'm getting to here, but I can't tell if I'm supposed to be scared or roll my eyes at this whole thing. Like you're sort of saying both.
I think it like somewhere in between.
Yeah, we are somewhere in between because the preparations that the Synod is making compared to what we've experienced so far don't seem to be matching up.
Well, let me ask this, because the other piece of information I have, and I'm not sure if this is news for you or not, but as you know, I employ the services of many caravan drivers, and the rumors that have been coming in from around the region are disturbing. There have been reports of attacks on villages by,
Ghouls?
well, yes, the undead.
What about skeletons? Have you heard about skeletons?
Just vaguely undead is what we're gathering, but a number of small villages have been wiped out. The populace is growing terrified, and I imagine that this is a significant part of what the Synod is responding to, trying to put forces out into the community to calm the populace. But are you implying that this mysterious woman is connected to these attacks?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we hadn't got there yet in the conversation. So you're saying it like it's really obvious, as if I were some all-knowing storytelling entity that lived outside the bounds of our spatial reality. But I'm just a merchant here.
Yeah,
together
I
rumors
get that.
and clues.
And again, we're sharing information. Both of us seem to be holding cards that we don't want to reveal to the other, as we don't want accusations made about who did necessarily what.
Well, there's no reason to bicker or argue about who killed who. This is supposed to be a happy occasion.
Yes, agreed.
Uh,
Besides, I still have business that I need to deal with you after we're done talking about ghouls and their grandmothery woman that we beat up. I mean, twice.
Well, you couldn't have beat her up too badly if you got to do it again.
Well, the first time she had just woken up. So, she just was tired.
That makes a great deal of sense. Well, I don't know if this has been a profitable exchange of information, but I certainly have new perspective and a number of new questions. And you've given me enough to be concerned about that I will be making some moves to moderate my risk, for which I'm grateful. In return, let me offer a bit of advice. The higher level leaders of the Synod are on edge here in the city. If you find yourself interacting with them, I would encourage you to moderate your tone, as there have already been some confrontations that were uncomfortable in the city with those who didn't show the appropriate deference to certain leaders who are clearly feeling anxious. I would watch your step in the city.
All right. Well, sounds like I'm not the one to go in and negotiate with the Synod.
I'm not sure even I want to be doing that right now, but I find myself in a privileged position.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, you have to deal with them every day. On to the business side of things. I have this, and Popham goes into his bag and then thinks for a second and turns to Aaron and goes, you still have that? You still have that hide?
Air hands it over quickly because as far as she was concerned, it's just like this smelly hide of a
Dead thing.
dead thing that she was told to
We
wear.
preserved it.
Crudely tanned.
Yeah. So he when you pull it out, his eyebrows quirk up just a little bit. And he leans forward and he, a ring on his pinky finger twists it just a little bit. And he moves his hand, and the cloak lifts, or the hide rather, lifts off the table, and the sort of residue of it on the table is whisked away as he prestidigitates this thing into a little bundle and moves it to the side off of the edge of the table. And he says, oh, a nice find. Your adventures have brought you to some interesting challenges, I see. With a displacer beast hide, there are a number of interesting things that can be done. What did you have in mind? Were you looking to sell the material?
Well, I was looking to have it be made into a cloak, but what other ideas do you have?
Well, a cloak is the most common usage, and I would argue the most efficient and effective use of the magic imbued in the hide. But it also would use up the entirety of your material here, and it does take some time, effort, and money to enchant. The product, on the other end, is quite wondrous, but a significant investment. There are alternatives. I, for example, have made smaller, less powerful versions of these objects. They can be made into, the amount of hide you have could be made into a set of, or rather 3 sets of bracers that offer a less efficacious effect, but are still beneficial. The price to produce such things is similar, but the process is faster. Or, if you're looking to just cash in on your efforts, I'd be happy to offer you 500 gold pieces for the hide, straight up.
What would a cloak cost us?
Well, for one of my craftsmen to take that project on, especially right now when we are literally buried in orders, I would sadly have to charge you priority pricing. We would likely be able to complete the project in a week's time. Perhaps a little longer if I get a demand from the Synod in the meantime. And the work would probably come out to somewhere in the range of 5,000 to 6,000 gold pieces.
Oh my God.
You're providing the hide, so probably closer to 5.
Uh,
I can't afford anything this guy ever sells.
I mean, you walked into a Bentley dealership and were like, could you make me like a custom ride?
Yeah.
What would that run me? I brought the metal.
You got this.
oh, I was hoping the friendship would, play into it a little bit. How much is a platinum piece? 10 gold pieces?
10 gold pieces, yeah. So he's pricing this probably around 500 platinum.
What about the bracers? How much are the bracers? If we got 3 bracers.
For 3 sets of the bracers, it's a similar price.
Oh, for God's sakes, this guy.
Right.
There perhaps is an arrangement we could make. Again, if you're comfortable parting with the hide, I could produce a single set of the bracers for you in exchange for allowing me to keep the remainder of the hide to use as I will. If I, at a later time, could have my craftsmen produce the 2 other sets of bracers that the hide would allow, the profit from selling those items would do a good amount to pay down my loss on the bracers I provide you.
I
It's your hide, Alex. What are you doing with it?
I think that I think I'm going to sit on this for a minute until maybe you're not so busy.
Fair enough. Above the table, if you want to know mechanically how I would handle these bracers. So the cloak of displacement, when you're wearing it, causes any creature attacking you to have disadvantage on its attack rolls, which is like a huge deal.
Yeah.
That effect stops functioning if you take damage, but only until the start of your next turn. So again, the cloak of displacement is
Game breaking, not game breaking, but it's very.
it is a rare tier item, and it is very powerful.
Yeah.
It makes you very, very difficult to hit, as it's very expensive. Bracers of displacement, which do not exist, and I'm making up as we talk. What I would do is give you the same effect, but it would operate as a reaction for a limited number of times per day. So like a 3 times per day as a reaction, you can
Make 'em roll
activate
again or
this to create an illusion of yourself next to you that would force a creature attacking you to roll at disadvantage, which would be pretty cool,
Also very cool. Yeah.
really helpful. Not as game breaking as every single attack against you is rolled at disadvantage, but if 3 times a day you're able to disrupt an attack reactively, it's pretty good. Especially if you're getting this relatively kind of for free in a way.
Well, now I toss it back to you, Thomas, being that this was meant for you. Do you want to hold out for a cloak, or do you want to go for bracers?
Delayed gratification or the quick upgrade.
We can hold on to it and think about it. I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm happy to contribute to it. I don't have 500 gold, but I don't know if anyone in our party has 500
Platinum.
platinum.
Yeah, no, none of us have that sort of money. I mean, ultimately, we're going to have to find another craftsman
Yeah,
to do this.
I'm perfectly happy to spread the wealth around. I'm happy to split it, the costs and kind of and make multiple items.
Pando chimes in and says, I have like 1,000 gold.
Does you?
If that would help. Is that a lot, you guys?
Yeah.
Because she definitely does. I have so much gold.
I mean, I have like 750.
Pando kind of grew.
Holy crap! How do all of you have so much
Two
money?
members of your party kind of grew up wealthy, and they don't really notice.
Yeah, they're like,
Oh.
what is? Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
No,
right
I
now.
got like a windfall of
They
platinum.
got like a
at one
BMW
point.
at 16,
Yeah.
and they're just like, you're comfortable. I don't know.
I mean, they're fine, but
I
like,
can't remember what
yeah.
it was from, but we did get a windfall.
I'm hoping for
We
my
got a
birthday,
windfall
like
of
maybe
platinum
Dad
at
will give
some
me a
point.
Lotus.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because you got a bunch of platinum at one point too. It was from
We all, I mean,
We all got a bunch of platinum that dropped out of Upito's corpse.
Right.
yeah, but it equaled out to be 50 platinum each. And
Yeah.
if we were playing by regular D&D rules, that would be 100 gold pieces per platinum piece, and we would easily have the money.
What do you mean by regular D&D rules? Advanced
Isn't-
Dungeons,
isn't-
like
isn't-
AD&D rules, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons from the 1990s?
No, isn't in 5th edition, isn't a platinum piece 100 gold pieces?
No, look
No,
at
it-
D&D Beyond. It
D&D
does the
Beyond
conversion for
automatically
you.
calculates it for us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have them in my thing as 50 platinum. I didn't.
Yeah, when you click on your little coinage, it'll give you your total coinage in gold pieces at the very top. It'll calculate it for you, but it also shows the conversion below each coin.
I got you.
Yeah.
Should we just sit on it until so we're
Yeah, let's sit on it.
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's a really cool thing here that
No,
we
sure.
will eventually be able to purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
with a
for
little
sure.
patience, I mean, it's one of the best combat items in,
Oh,
the,
it's
in the
sick.
game.
And what's so cool about it, especially, it doesn't it doesn't mess with concentration. Like
Right.
the equivalent spell you have to it's a concentration spell.
And you can wear it on top of armor. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of awesome. It does require.
It is awesome. And yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Let's sit on it.
All right.
Since we can't afford it anyway.
All right. Very good. So I
So
think.
Red had so much money.
Yeah.
He also had access. Red also had access to the. They made him. He was the thief, and they made him the group's banker,
Right.
which was such a bad idea.
Or something.
It's a thief,
It was such
a
a
heart
bad
of
idea.
gold, and also a pouch full of gold.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. He. I mean, not to give everything away. Oh, there was 2,482 gold pieces sitting in the party gold bank, and every once in a while he would pay out to the members, like, "Oh, who needs some gold? Here you go," and then would collect dividends on top of that.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Anyway,
Once he realizes that you're not in the mood to buy right now, Morana will thank you for the exchange of information. He will tell you that though his stock is pretty sparse right now, if there's anything else you need, you're welcome to pick
do you have
something up
discount
if you need a
potions?
couple potions or anything like that.
Yeah, we're
You
always,
got a discount potion basket?
yeah, like an overstock or something. Like
Sir, we are not that kind of establishment. If you're looking for a discount potion bin, you might as well go down to Pinky's Potions and see what you can scrounge up. But I wash my hands of the whole situation if that's the case. Anything you pull out of that bin is not my responsibility. This is me officially telling you, don't do it.
Pom pulls out like a coupon he clipped from like a.
Do you have a couple of potions of healing?
I do.
Yeah.
I could make that happen. Again, I need to limit what I can sell because of the very tight stock right now, but I could part with 3 regular potions of healing, and because we're friends, I could part with them for 50 gold apiece.
All right. I'll take all 3.
All right, very good. You acquire 3 potions of healing.
Does Morana have any? Is there like a cheaper display cabinet that's, has some cool rings or something in there that might be in my price range?
I mean, I think Morana at this point will hand you off to a salesperson.
It's like I can't deal with this.
But you tell me, what is your price range? Like, what's the cabinet you're asking to be directed to?
I don't know. A few hundred gold. I don't know if I'll spend that, but I just want to at least see what he has in stock. And I think it's not a crime to look, right?
No, there's no problems there.
Maybe he has a special like wear this necklace and you're just cooler than everyone thing or something. Who knows?
That sounds like a very good.
A hat, maybe like a jaunty hat.
It's my jet pouch. I didn't say this. There we go.
It's a special carrying case for a hat to make sure it keeps its shape while traveling on the sea.
All right. The salesperson asks, "Very good, sir. Are you in the market for consumables or something a little more?"
Magical items,
Well, yes, that's all we sell here.
not consumables.
When I say
Jewelry,
consumables, I mean potions, dusts.
I know what you're.
Things that only work for a little bit and then stop working.
The salesman is just
Things, things with a limited number of charges, for
right.
example.
Is this your way of telling me I can't afford anything that's permanent, or?
No, but will help me pick the right case to direct you to.
I'm looking for permanent effects, wearable items causing,
Very good. Sir.
or limited or daily,
Very good.
that recharge
Right this way.
This one lets you manifest an ice cream cone and twice a day. If you want the 3-a-day one, that's going to cost you over your budget.
So he will walk you
Didn't,
over.
didn't we have that one time?
He will walk you over to their sort of economy section of permanent items.
This is where they direct the mothers to buy like for their children when they graduate or something.
Yeah.
Like, here's a-
He picks up a fist-sized glass globe.
Look at there's a fish in it.
Holds it up for you, and he taps it while he says a quick command word, and the globe lights up with a bright interior light, and it floats into the air. And he sort of points in different directions, and it zips over there, and then it zips over there. Goes where he tells it. He says, "This is very, very handy. Very handy.
Parlor trick.
The drift globe is very handy for dungeon delvers,
Oh my gosh.
explorers of dark places."
Right.
Looks fun.
Nothing that's like
Yep.
defensive or
Well,
combat related in
he-
some way.
he goes down the road just a little bit, and he
This is what we call a butterfly knife.
reaches in and he pulls out a small, probably about 4 feet long, a trident.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking.
It's got a very beautiful polished wooden handle,
Okay.
and a 3-tined, not sure if it's brass or what, but it's a brassy metal with 3-tined trident. And he says, with this, sorry, the
You have one of those hanging in your garage?
yes, I do. So with this, should you find yourself immersed beneath the waves, you can use the power of this device to command the denizens of the ocean around you to do whatever you wish.
That's kind of cool, honestly.
Within limits, right? Not all intelligent fish will not fall under this command. But
Air's not following it, and then he goes like, "Have you seen Little Mermaid?"
have you ever read
Bad scene singing.
Have you ever read DC Comics? You can't speak to them, but you can tell them what to do. Hey, Bass, go over there, and then zip off he goes.
Right.
Just like you wanted.
I think Air just looks really defeated. It's like, thank you for your time.
Maybe come over to the consumables rack for a moment.
Sure.
There's some good in your price range. There's some good stuff
Air just finds it's salty.
over
Air's done.
here.
Air's done.
Have you ever seen Dust of Disappearance?
Dust of disappearance.
Now there's
a shrewd customer.
Or do I just save up for the displacement?
I think you will like this. The Dust of Disappearance comes in a small packet.
Okay.
It is a very fine sand, 1 packet per use. I won't be demonstrating it because once we do that, it's used up. But you throw it into the air, and you and every creature and object within 10 feet of you, who's
that's pretty good range,
encompassed
at
in
least.
the dust, becomes invisible for 2 to 8 minutes.
It's pretty good, actually.
That is
can
really
you
good.
Can you leave the original
Oh
area
yes,
that you've
once
thrown?
the dust is on you, the invisibility takes
I
effect.
do
Now,
like
should
that.
you make a bold attack or
Right.
cast a spell, it will disrupt the invisibility as is typical. But the dust, it has great utility.
Pretty good. How much is that?
Our packets of Dust of Disappearance are currently priced at
800 gold pieces.
no. Don't be ridiculous. 300 gold per package.
And with the family and friend discount, that comes to
Well, I did see
300
you
gold.
talking to Mr. Morano, and so he has authorized me in these cases to offer you
pat on the back.
3 packets for 800 gold.
Jesus Christ.
Um,
Air starts walking out.
That's a 100 gold piece discount.
Air's out. Air's
Substantial.
left. Air's left.
So, I do have one thing that I am wondering if you would have any interest in purchasing.
Go on.
Rhea, out of her giant bag, removes a barrel of elven whiskey.
Oh.
I'm just
Forgot
wondering.
about the elven whiskey.
yeah,
Was this in the cache? This was in the cache, right?
Oh yeah.
Are there 4 barrels?
No, there were 3
Three
and some unmarked bottles, and I have them all.
Oh, I didn't realize at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember
No,
this.
but I just pulled one out, and
It wasn't
I
shiny,
think
so
I
Air wasn't
wanna.
interested.
I'm just and it's a sealed barrel of keg of Alvin whiskey.
Yeah.
We should have set fire to the place. What were we doing?
That's true.
Very good, very good, very good.
I'm just
He
wondering.
gets a close look at this, and then he says, a moment. This is not my area of specialty. Let me
Let
call
me call
over,
a guy."
Let me call over a friend of mine. And about 5 minutes later, another member of Morana's team comes over, and the moment he sees the mark burned into the side of the cask, he gets very excited, and he says, "Is this untapped?
It is untapped.
Do you mind if I inspect it?"
Please.
He lifts it up and puts it on the counter, and he also uses a little ring, and he does a little move, and you see all the dust fly off of the cask, and he sort of rolls it around and investigates the seals, and then he casts the spell again, and you see from the bung,
The bung around in the bung hole.
in the bung hole,
Yes.
just a tiny vapor puffs out, like he's extracted a tiny part of it without breaking the seal.
Yeah, we'll have to charge him, but absolutely.
And he leans forward and he just and then he looks at you and he says, "Please understand, this is not a setup for a dishonest dealing, but I must ask, are you aware of what you are in possession of?"
Of course.
Absolutely, I am aware
and-
of what I'm in possession of. And actually, we had a tapped keg as well. I have a little sample of a
Of this
bottle.
whiskey.
Yes, of this whiskey that is here.
That everyone in this room
that
knows
is-
exactly
yes.
what it is.
I would like to, if you would like to have a taste.
Oh, well, he gets super excited when you say that. You're not serious. You would share a sample of
Share a
this with
sample.
me.
Drinking on the
Yes.
job.
He ushers you over back to that private room
Yes,
that
yes,
he
yes.
doesn't realize you've already been in. And
He starts explaining it. He's like,
yeah, he starts talking about it.
Yeah.
This is our private room.
Yeah, I don't think I actually wrote a name for this, so we'll create a name for it. So he goes on to talk way too long and in way too much detail about the provenance of this whiskey. So it is produced by a very small noble house, or rather by brewers in the territory of a very small noble house, on an island in the main chain of the empire that is entirely owned by that very small noble house. And the not so secret of this whiskey that everybody knows but nobody says out loud is that noble house doesn't really exist. It's a very thin cover for the emperor's
Okay.
noble house. So it's like a pseudo rebrand, right? It's the Kirkland, it's the
Yeah.
Kirkland Grey Goose,
Okay.
right? Except the op,
I feel like
yeah.
during this explanation, we're all just nodding our heads and we're like, yeah, we know. We know.
We know this. We do know.
We
this.
know.
We are
and this
quite
vintage
aware.
in particular, very good vintage,
Yes,
as you know, as we all know.
as we all know.
So he giddily tastes it and then spends, again, a significant amount of time describing to you the impact of the alcohol on the back of the throat, the finish,
Right.
which speaks to the cherry blossoms that bloom on the island and the toasted oak finish that is reminiscent of the halls of the Emperor's
Right,
Grand Palace. And there's a lot. It's poetry, and he's very excited about it.
Hey, don't tell us. We know exactly what it is.
Exactly.
We know what it's worth.
And at the conclusion, he says, how is it that you would like to proceed with this transaction? With an untapped cask, you do have options. We could invest some time in gathering collectors and put it to auction, which would probably capture the greatest return. Alternatively, if you are interested in liquidity more quickly, we could open it, bottle it, and sell the bottles. We can move the bottles rather quickly to upscale taverns and individual noble houses. You will make less money, but have cash in hand more quickly. Or finally, Moranas would be pleased to buy this from you. You will take a wholesale price at that, but it will still be a substantial sum of gold.
But
And
store
we can
credit, can we
pay
get-
you today.
We get a little more in store credit.
I could see that being a negotiation, yes.
What would Moranas offer us?
He scribbles some numbers down as he's doing some like back of the napkin calculations. And he says, for a cask of this size, of the single barrel family vintage,
I really could say.
that's truly
I
priceless.
really couldn't say.
Truly priceless. I feel confident that Mr. Morana.
800 gold pieces.
I feel confident that Mr. Morana would support my offer of 1,100 gold pieces.
Oh wow.
Should
Now-
you wish to take that amount in store credit, 1,400.
And what's your estimate if we were to go to auction?
It's hard to say, but the longer you're willing to wait to gather bidders and promote the auction, the higher potential you have. But I've seen casks like this go for upwards of 4,000 gold.
And that's after your fee, of course.
No.
So,
When we run an auction for you, we take 20%.
so approximately, how long would it take to run an auction?
Well, to promote the auction properly, we would want 2 weeks. The auction itself happens in an afternoon. There is some investment that needs to be fronted by the auction house, but that is managed within our 20% fee, so no investment is required on your part. We would hold the cask for you until the auction takes place. And then, of course, you would be present to ensure that the auction proceeds with your oversight. Payment upon delivery. All participants in an auction must bring their cash and deposit it with the auction house in advance.
What do you think? Should we leave this with them and come back for the auction?
We have 3 of these barrels? No, I'm not talking as Potham right now. I'm talking out of game.
Yeah, I have three.
Three? Is
I
one
have
open, or how does
three.
this work?
No. I have three untapped barrels and two bottles unmarked, but two bottles.
I thought you said that you had one tapped.
No. The unmarked bottles were from the. Well, no. I just said that it was untapped. I have these two
Oh, I got you.
of Elvin whiskey. I have two
What?
bottles of Elvin whiskey,
Completely
and I
different
have
whiskey.
3 kegs of Elvin whiskey.
Why? Okay. Why are we holding on? Why would we be holding on to 2 of them?
Because I wanted to know what he was going to say. I didn't want him to know that I had 2 more.
Sure. But
I'm not offering up all of them right now. I just am not confident that I'm going to necessarily get the best price. I mean, we could leave all 3.
It's a huge.
I think that if we're going to go to auction, that we definitely offer up all 3.
I know,
And-
but then I'm going to walk over to the Synack and they're going to put me in jail right now.
No.
We'll look after the whiskey, okay? Or the
Right.
We'll
They don't know that we exist, and we'll break you out of jail.
leave
We
the
already
bottom.
jailbroke your
Okay,
body.
go to the Synack. Okay. Let's put 2 up for auction. Let's reveal that I have a second, but I'd still just like to keep one with me.
Here's the thing, is that ultimately, when we go to battle Upido again, we're going to be significantly better if we have a Displacer Beast cloak.
Oh well, yeah, obviously.
Matt's already said that that's a game breaker.
His words.
Yeah.
His words.
Leave all 3
And so
as price.
we know that the Displacer Beast cloak is five grand, but if we reveal that we have these 3 barrels that could potentially catch 4 grand each, we could negotiate down the price of the Displacer Beast cloak and still make a significant profit on top of it. Plus, walking around with a barrel of whiskey,
Anything could happen. Think about the safe. You might.
anything could happen.
Break open.
Right. You could fall
Oh,
out of a
there's been bunch
skyship.
of luck rolls for all the days since.
Oh,
Like, you
isn't
fought
that retconning?
You fought a big,
you can't retcon my keg of
you fought a
Elvis
boss
whiskey.
fight while holding 3 kegs of whiskey. We might need to roll
Freya
for
can
that.
do that.
You don't have a
Freya can do that.
you don't have a bag of holding. That was just in
Whatever.
your backpack. You had,
Strapped on.
you had 3 oak barrels of whiskey strapped to your back while you flew through the air and fought an undead creature with chains
No,
flying
I
out.
put him off to the side.
I quietly set them down in some straw.
Wait a second.
In the flaming village.
Yeah.
No, I just put them over here somewhere safe. They were fine the whole time. Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we're gonna do
give
some-
all 3.
We're gonna
we'll
do some
put all
risk,
3
risk
out here.
rolls, I think. We're gonna do
We'll
some
put
risk
all 3 out here. Okay.
Perfect.
Here's the truth of the matter. I actually have 3.
There's a
We'd like to.
it's
we'd
a
like
spit
to,
take, and then he immediately looks horrified that he spit out this very expensive whiskey.
little
I
more.
think that
There's a minute there where he's like, can I lick it? Is that weird?
Is that weird? Is that
I'm
okay?
not
Is that too
keeping my
much?
bottles of unmarked
Uh,
Alvin whiskey though.
I think it's time that you bring your boss into the room, into the discussion.
Okay. Before we do that, he's going to investigate these other 2 casks. And what he will tell you is that though they are from the same producer, they are not the same distillation. And these
guy.
Of course.
and these are also extremely valuable, but not at the same level of this extraordinarily rare cask that you first looked at.
Eric grabs him quickly. He's like, "We'll get a second opinion."
You certainly can. But he estimates the value of each of the other 2 kegs at about half the value of the first. So his wholesale offer to you for each of the other kegs is 600 gold pieces.
Wait, what?
The wholesale offers.
Oh, the whole.
That's wholesale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, we're taking them all to auction.
Yeah, we're gonna end up with
We're gonna hang out in Nanton for 2 weeks.
with over. Yeah, we're gonna end up with like over the 5K, but it's not gonna be much over when it's all said and done. If we're still
Well, and this is where we negotiate in the displacer beast.
sure.
That we get this, and what, 20%, 30% of the auction price.
What?
So we want the displacer beast cloak, and then we'll also take the remainder 30% of the auction price
Instead
of
of
the
the
barrels.
percent that we would have taken if it was just the barrels.
Right. And then we would have had to pay for the displacer beast cloak outright. This way,
Sure.
we're guaranteeing that we get at least $5,000, and then whatever 30% of the final sale is on top of it.
Sure.
So they keep 70%, we keep 30%, and the displacer beast cloak.
Yeah.
All right.
Air would like to roll a persuasion check.
All right, so we'll fast forward through some of this, but Marana comes back in and you start the hard bargaining. Air, roll a persuasion check to see how well you sell this.
Doesn't
plan.
you get the extra 4?
A 6.
Well,
Doesn't Pando do her thing?
Oh yeah, Pando does her thing for sure.
I'm gonna let you guys
Roll
down.
a D4.
I feel so bad.
And let's see. if
And
you
also, I
It's
assist,
not it.
which means you get to roll at an advantage.
Actually, pretty good persuasion. This is just a bad luck.
I know. I have that problem. all the time.
17, and then I don't know how you've been this fast and loose guidance roll additions have been.
Roll a D4.
Hey, here's what I'm gonna
I'm sorry,
give.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
17. Without the guidance, it's 17 plus 5, so that's 22. So then,
Here's the deal. Here's what he will counter with.
he's a hard running.
I
He's a
know.
businessman. He's
I
here.
know.
He's here to make money. Morana's counter is this: I like you, all of you, even you, and
Who's even you?
I want to represent you in this auction. This will
We
be
want you to represent us.
this will be a noticeable event.
Think about the
in the
publicity alone for your shop.
In fact,
could we remain anonymous?
of course.
Yes, thank you.
I will offer you a few paths to consider. Path number 1,
You get out of my shop right now.
because an auction carries no guarantee of a return on your investment. I cannot ensure that people will show up, bid the price that my employee estimated for you. There is no guarantee of this.
Sure.
So, if you would like a guarantee in exchange for these 3 casks, I will completely cover the cost of the displacer beast cloak. An even exchange, but a guaranteed one. Alternatively, as a second option, I will hold on the work on the cloak. We will invest our time, as we often do, in promoting the auction for the next 2 weeks. We will run the auction, and I will apply everything we make from the auction towards the price of the displacer beast cloak.
If there's something left.
And if there's something left, I will split that remaining price with you 30%, 70%. One final alternative I can offer to you. Should you wish to truly maximize your return on this treasure, we would run an auction in the Empire proper, not here in the mainland, in this outskirt city. As glorious as Nantong is, and as much as I love my homeland, this whiskey would truly fetch a royal price in the capital. Now, it would take me 2 months to execute that transaction. But we could see a return of 3 to 5 times the local estimate. So if you're willing to truly be patient and trust me with your goods, unless you wish to travel to the capital with me when I would execute this auction personally, that would deliver the greatest return for you and me. And we would, in that case, stick to our standard agreement of a 20% fee. 80% of that take would come back to you. My 20% would make the journey well worth it, I assure you.
So, if we were to do that, when would you want to leave?
It would be up to you. The whiskey's been sitting around for well on 95 years.
I mean,
It can sit for an...
would you be willing to leave, in the next few days?
That would be challenging with all of the contracts I currently have running. I could probably arrange to depart in a week's time.
Hey, give us one moment. Turns to the crew. How about this? Displacer Beast Cloak now. 40-60 on the 2-month-long investment. We get 40, he gets 60 of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think he'll go for it, or do you?
I mean, we can propose it. It's if you guys are cool with that. Because
Also-
yeah, I think that we need to stay here.
Also, do you think it's
Do we need to stay here? I mean, could we just leave for the capital? We could just leave for the capital. You wanted to go.
This is a 180-degree turn from when you guys were both staring me down, telling me that I had to stand up for be responsible.
It truly
not
is.
me? Not me. I don't want to make it clear.
At the end of the
Eric-
day, though,
And for a moment, Potham just stops and he looks over his shoulder he looks over his shoulder. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm just a little bit frustrated. I'm happy that you have this cone of silence on. Oh, you don't?
It truly is a schizophrenic group. You all exchange personalities and decision paths over and over and over again, wherever the wind blows you. So you're gonna.
Potham counters with Displacer Beast Cloak now. 40 for us, 60 for you in the mainland auction.
He considers for a moment. Displacer Beast Cloak now. I will take full possession of the whiskey. 50-50, with a guarantee that at a minimum I recoup my 5,000 gold investment.
I think we can do that, right?
Yeah, I mean that sounds fair.
If we only took 10,000 down from the auction of all 3 of these in the Empire, our expedition would be a dismal failure. I fully expect to capture
Right.
much more than that.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair.
Yeah. Also, side comment to the group: is it strategically better for us to have 3 of the bracers than 1 of the cloaks?
Well, I already have I have Blur and I have what's the other duplicate? Is that what?
There's 4 of us.
Mirror image.
How did the bracers?
Mirror image.
Did they?
So the way the bracers will work when I build them is that as a reaction, so you could, as a reaction, you could burn a charge on the bracer
Okay.
and force an enemy that's attacking you in that moment to roll at a disadvantage. So my thought was that they would have 3 charges per day.
It's pretty strong.
What
by
that
itself, to be
basically
honest.
means is that in
It's
any
9.
given day where you're getting in a fight, 3 attacks against you, you could force to roll at disadvantage,
Sure.
which probably means they're going to miss. So, that's a big deal. And frankly, when you consider the fact that in a typical combat for you guys,
It's
air
like-
might be only getting attacked 5-6
Yeah,
times
so they have to-
total in the
yeah.
combat anyway. Like your combats have rarely lasted.
Yeah.
Now I'm being really metagamey, but your
Yeah.
combats have rarely lasted more than 5 rounds.
Right.
Yeah,
And maybe if you have many enemies attacking
Right.
you at once, you might see more attacks than that. But many of you are not taking double-digit attacks in a combat or in a day.
Right.
So it's the bracers are
Yet.
substantial.
Yeah.
Yet, that's a good point.
So, and here's the thing: is that the Displacer Beast cloak is, by Matt's own words, is awesome.
it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, I think that we go for
The
broke with the
trade-off,
cloak.
I think, to your point, Alex, the trade-off is the bracers would be immediate utility and are good for what you're dealing with right now. Like
Yeah.
at your level, the magic item I'm describing as the bracers is a really good magic item. In 2 or 3 levels, will it be a really good magic item? It'll still be a good magic item, but will it be a great magic item? So what you're discussing is, do we want 3 good magic items, or do we want one
Really?
really excellent?
We want
magic
one really excellent.
We want one really excellent.
I just wanted to throw out. I
No,
want
that's
to make
good.
sure
It's a
we
good
weren't
question to
we weren't
ask.
trying to socialize
question.
costs and
I
appetite
get it.
here
I get it.
in that situation.
Yeah.
But if it's for the same cost, I would rather go with 1 excellent than 3 good.
Okay.
That will be useless to us in 2-3 levels.
Okay.
All right, so the agreement with Marana is he will produce
Yeah, you gotta write the contract here. This.
cloak of displacement for a
I think we drove a hard bargain here.
deferred price of
I think I
5,000
remember to have
gold
those kegs
pieces.
Alvin whiskey.
Yeah.
In exchange, the Elven whiskey will be auctioned in the capital. And proceeds will be split 50-50 with the party,
Minus the cost of the cloak.
with a guarantee of 5,000 minimum for him.
Yeah, I mean it's almost all upside for him,
All right.
Yeah.
other than his time, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he is gonna,
lose 2 months or whatever.
there's an investment in organizing an auction and traveling to the mainland and all that kind of stuff. Like, he's gonna lay out a fairly significant amount of money, but this guy's visualizing a 5-figure take on this, so he's
Right.
probably
He's fine.
feeling good about
Also,
it.
he'll do other business while he's in the capital, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And delightfully, for me as the DM, this potentially gives you a reason to go to the capital,
Exactly.
which
Mhm.
I have been writing about for a literal year.
That's right. We haven't.
Yeah.
It's true.
We just got stuck being responsible for our actions.
Well, I mean, y'all did cause a regional catastrophe
Hey,
that
that which you benefited from, really, Puddum, the absolute.
Yeah. No, I know I did.
Hey.
I know I did.
Talk about socializing costs and recognizing
Yeah.
profits here.
all right, very good. It feels to me like this might be a good place to pause our travel and shopping episode.
I agree. Also, because it's almost 9 o'clock.
It is almost 9
Yes.
o'clock.
Very sleepy.
So we'll leave it here as you sign what we will call an informal contract in
Okay.
Marana's presence.
Oh, a very formal contract. I'll be.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would like it written into the contract that we are that we are anonymous.
Oh yeah, fine. Wish
Confidential.
to remain anonymous.
Well, names will not be used in the promotion. In the
Or any other documentation.
If you would have been dealing with Red in this situation, he would have been very mad about that stipulation.
Should we form like a shell company? Like, should we get an LLC spun up here so that we can
Sure.
funnel the?
I like it.
To quote our DM from years ago, we're not doing business simulator here, okay?
We're selling poop, you guys. That's the plan.
Poop potions. Poop potions.
We don't have massive experience here, but I am going to award a little bit of experience because you still did do
I mean,
stuff.
Hey,
Make moves.
I carried 3 casks of Belgian whiskey.
Yep. I carried a watermelon.
I carried a
Everybody,
Katie and I just watched that movie.
Alex and I. Whatever.
everybody can take 300 experience points for this
Okay.
this session in your shrewd negotiating. And we'll put a pin in it here, and hopefully we'll be able to gather the whole group up next time, and I guess go visit the Synod and start strategizing.
Or not,
We'll
maybe
see
just go to
about
the
that. I
capital.
don't
Or
know.
not. Maybe we'll just go to the mainland.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, it seems like a lot of people are on board for that.
The wind continues to blow you where it will.
Things can change.
I've never liked the Minotaurs.
Yeah, it's just like the party always.
Right.
Fuck them.
Fuck 'em.
Heroes for a minute till we find an interesting business opportunity. See you, losers.
See, well, it seems like they have a pretty good idea about what they need to do to ramp up to get out of there.
Yeah, well, we're just gonna be in their way.
Right.
And
And we did our part. We
And you
fought
know
her
what? I
twice.
thought Alex is mistaken. It never was. It always just left the option on the table of us being able to run away, and that's why we did it. Not to say we even when we got separated, it wasn't with the intention of running away.
She grabbed my face and told me to be responsible
Yeah.
in a very demeaning tone.
Well, it was the only thing that worked.
Well, I'm excited to see where this progresses, and it was fun playing with you guys. We'll wrap it
Yeah,
here,
thank you very much, Matt.
and we'll
Yes.
let's hit the thread with some dates and see if we can get Courtney in the mix.
Can't wait to see
I
the
will
AI
be
summary.
back on
The AI
May
summary is
3rd.
going to be great. There's going to be contract language in it. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome.
You're back on the 3rd, on May 3rd?
I'm back on May 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. I will be past the bulk of this insane project at that point, which hopefully will make me more sane, and we'll immerse ourselves again. All right, buddy. I'm going to pack it up.
All right.
See you soon.
Cool.
Bye, brother.
Talk to you soon. Bye.